Hello. I did not realise that we hadn't started right now. And it's just me on my own. And I'm so sorry. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, Ryan. I hope you're all waiting patiently, and I will be right back with Chris to introduce us properly. Hi, Ryan. Again. Oh, it's been a while. I'm so sorry. See you all soon. Oh my god. Oh no, I'm not, because I can't end it. I'm just gonna wait for Chris. Right. Hi everyone. Welcome to Follow Everton. You're joined by me, and Chris has a lovely background going on at the minute. So this is pre-match Palace. I think he's going to do a little watch along with you all as well at some point. I should have been a lot more prepared for this. I should have checked before I joined.
Look who's here!
Finally, oh my god. Look at this. I'm so panicked. I didn't realise that we hadn't started, and I was like...
We are live, you know.
Headlights.
You know we are live, right?
And then I couldn't leave without ending it. So it's been the worst first minute of any Follow Everton stream to ever exist.
What do you mean? This is the one we're going to post when people want to join our channel. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the show. We are going to have a lot of fun today, hopefully. Looks like I'm already getting some shtick in the comments for being fashionably late. Let me remind you that it's 6:30 a.m. over here, despite it looks like I'm in Liverpool. Not to be, unfortunately, because if I was overseas, I would be in London right now at this stupid game, trying to pretend like the third time's the charm because I had two unfortunate encounters at Selhurst Park last season, but it is what it is. Cheers, Amy. How are you? How you feeling?
I'm okay. Yeah. I'm still poorly, so if I'm coughing all over you, I'm so sorry. I hope it doesn't transcend through the camera.
It was this week when I learned what poorly meant. So that's good. We're 7.5 minutes in, no score at Craven Cottage, Fulham and Leeds. All of a sudden, Fulham are our best friends our good friends for the day. We'll say. We won't say who our best friends are because I don't want to get in trouble with this channel. But let's just say we need Nottingham Forest to not win today. Yeah, Fulham. I haven't seen any of this. We're 8 minutes in, and I've just turned it on. But all I know is last week. I don't want to dwell on it too much other than to say it was a team jogging around and just making us look silly. So I hope we see a better version of Fulham today, because if they can really put one over on these Leeds characters, they can all of a sudden drop Leeds' goal difference to below us.
Yeah, we're hoping. It's horrible, innit? Wanting so many teams to, let's say, definitely lose rather than some to win.
Right.
But we need this race at the bottom to stay between as many of us as it can. If this goes off to where it's just between two of us for the last space at the bottom, that makes me heavily nervous.
Hard to think about, isn't it?
Yeah. Southampton yesterday was absolutely terrifying.
I'm so jealous. I have not had time to even make brekkie yet. Someone order me an Uber Eats or a Deliveroo, please. Thanks very much. Morning. How are you? Everyone, good to see you. You can follow Everton joining in. We never know who that is. Oh, we have a who knows who this actually is. What am I looking at?
Technical difficulties.
I hope that this is.
Jeff.
It's not, though. Jeff has too much hair. There's someone backstage. Peel back the curtain. There's someone backstage on our stream at the minute. Okay, we figured out who it is now. I thought for a second that might be someone from StreamYard, which would have been hilarious. What's up, Richo? Good to see you, buddy. Oh, I wish I was. I do have eggs in there, which I didn't want to do it by myself, but now that Amy's here, I might bounce out for a second. But there's some so I live by an area of by a town center, and today there is an Ironman race that's going to be all over. And what that means is all of the roads around my apartment are going to be shut down basically all morning. So luckily, I'll just be sat here watching the football. But if I needed to go anywhere, I couldn't. And nobody will be able to get to me if they're delivering any food. So life is hard. What can I tell you?
That's so unfair. Think of the people.
I know. I know. What a life. Thoughts and prayers, everyone, please, for my safety.
When we do the 5K in St. Helens, they kind of shut some of the roads, but you can definitely still go up and down, and there is no curve for these people's running safety at all. They're that's it, they're past the park now, open the road up, everyone's got places to be.
Yeah, there's of course, there's a way in and out. Like they can't completely shut it down. But let's just say there's usually 3 or 4 ways in. They just limit it to one, and of course, that's the most roundabout way of getting back. So it's just a little bit frustrating, but won't matter today. Hello to Amy.
Hi, Richo.
Oh, the Blues is here. Cancel the stream. Never mind. Stream's over. Kevo's got his camera work. So Kevin Kraft tried to jump on our phone in the other day, and he was having trouble with his camera and his microphone. So I don't know if you saw that. We had a few people call in because Ryan decided in the middle of the stream, hey, let's just do a phone in. Like, why not? What can go wrong? And it actually did go pretty cool. We had a couple people on, but it had disastrous potential, but proud of how it went.
So
I have started saying defo, by the way. That's been thrown into the regular vocabulary.
It makes life much easier than stressing all the syllables of definitely.
Is it that much easier?
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, there's a couple phrases I'll randomly throw. I have literally just naturally comes out of my mouth now. I'm half well, not half Scouts, working my way up.
Getting your Scouts card. It's like a green card, but to be allowed to go to the match.
Oh, you're messing. Oh, that's a bad challenge. Tim Ream with a little bit of a bad challenge. It should be. Normally, that's going to be a yellow. We're right on 12 minutes. I'm surprised it's not been given for some reason. His fellow countrymen, American on American. What is this world coming to? Ream catches American Brendan Aronson in the right in the ankle. I'm surprised that wasn't a yellow. Either way, you have the game on, Amy. Or are you just hanging out?
No, I'm just hanging out. I'm just chilling.
All right, that's cool.
Imagine if I had it on in the background now with the state of my telly, like the volume of that, you wouldn't be able to hear a thing other than the match. And I'd have to keep turning around at an awkward angle.
You know, you could turn the volume down. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, but then I've got to get back up and turn it up later on. And
man, we thought my life was hard. Jeez. By the way, only time I'll shameless plug my show, but my podcast is officially on Apple and Spotify as of today. So check it out. It's the Real Domino Pod. You can find it by searching for Real Domino Pod or Domino Chris. I appreciate the support that this channel and these fine folks have given me. Very appreciated.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Amy. I was mainly talking to you. You've done great. Killing it. Killing it. Hey, we haven't got your, I know you love. This was mentioned the other day, and I almost threw up because Ryan mentioned 5 at the back, and I instantly thought of you. So what do you think today for your lineup? What do we got? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Right. This left back issue. I keep saying, just give Mikolenko time. He'll be okay. I'm done with that now. I'm over that.
Yeah, I'm past that too. Even though I think he's in the squad today, but I'm upset about it.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick between any of the left backs, it's going to have to be Mikolenko anyway. He is an actual left back. Godfrey anywhere, but in the centre isn't working anymore. Coleman's still injured, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not. He's not right for it, as Sean Dyche just said.
So I want Miko. Cody's not played enough, so I'm going to have to say Michael Keane because I promised I wouldn't slag him off anymore after Spurs. So Michael Keane. Really?
Have you not? Okay. I'll let you finish.
I can't slag him off anymore, and I can't bring Cody in because he's just not going to be sharp enough at all for the level of the game. Mina doesn't exist as far as I'm aware and as far as all the...
What do you mean? He played against Chester the other day?
He had a blinder, apparently.
Yeah.
And then Taki, obviously, I still strongly believe he is one of our best players. I know he makes some mistakes.
He's been our best player all season, bar none.
Yeah. Patterson on the right instead of Godfrey. I think it might take a minute or two. Longer than a minute.
Thank you, Terry. We appreciate that. Sorry to interrupt, Ames. Go ahead.
Just for him to get used to it. Like, obviously, he seemed like a bit of a rabbit caught in headlights against Fulham, but he's not played in a while. But I'd rather see him start than Godfrey. If he is a bit shaky, we'll put Godfrey on for him later.
Right.
I want Onana starting again, if he can. I feel like we've missed him.
Let's just for argument's sake say Onana's not fit, even though I think he'll play too. But let's just say he's not, because we had this debate the other day about our very scared thoughts about what might happen if Onana's not fit.
I don't want to say it.
Yeah, none of us do. And again, can't stress enough. You're wearing a blue shirt. We will support you. But man, I shudder to think. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt again. I'm bad at that.
It's okay. I love an interrupt. Now, it gives me more time to think as well because I don't want to say what I have to say. So I'm going to say Ghana and Ghana.
Okay.
Ghana and Ghana.
Look at this. Hang on. Can't half tell you're from St. Helens. The accent's gone.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks, Kevin.
Oh, no.
I forgot what number one, right? 4, 2, that's 6.
You've got Garner and Ghana controlling the central of the midfield. I'll help you out because you're not going to not have. Oh, that's a great shot by Leeds. Almost gone up 1-0. Left side, you've got Dwight McNeil. You can't not have McNeil.
Yeah, McNeil. It will be on the right.
Right.
And then I want. Oh no, Sims and DCL.
Okay, so you've got Damari Gray coming off the bench. I will if I have
DCL's not going to do a full match anyway, is he? But
I don't know. I think he normally when he posts on socials, that means he's up for it, and he posted about 2 hours ago or something. So that makes me think. I do think he will start, and
I just don't know if he's going to be fit enough or sharp enough. He might be fit enough with how much he's kept him out with the training and that game against Chester that none of us should care that we lost about. But
right. I actually don't even mind if we see him play and it's a sure thing that he will play. I don't mind if he doesn't start and we put Gray up top, but that's only if we play a 4-5-1. And I know that means keeping Sims on the bench, and I know that could muddle up the midfield. If Onana doesn't play, if Onana plays, it's easy for me. It's Onana, it's Ghana, it's Garner, it's McNeil, and Iwobi. That's the 5 in the midfield. Very easy. If Onana doesn't play, it's either going to be Tom Davis in the midfield or it's going to be a 4-4-2 with Sims and Calvert-Lewin in all likelihood, and Gray will
I would much rather do the 4-4-2, and I'm not saying anything about Tom Davies or slagging him off because, like you said, everyone in a blue shirt deserves.
Yeah, but he just doesn't have it right now.
But he's just not going to do a full 90 minutes. I don't even think he'd pull out a full 60 at this point. He's just not played enough this season. Is how I'm going to put that.
Another option would be something like a 4-4-1-1 with Damari Gray on the pitch if you want to run that, or even Iwobi, you can put him in a central position. But at least the point, if Calvert-Lewin is starting, it opens up so many options, and it just changes the way we look at a lot of different formations and what could work. It changes the entire game for Dwight McNeil on the left side, being able to cross the ball in and actually have somebody get a head on it, not named Damari Gray or Neil Mopé, who are my height, probably 5'4" on a good day. It's just, again, not slagging them off. Man, it's hard for me to talk. it's hard for me to talk about Neil Mopé. And if you want to play Neil Mopé in a certain formation, there's something to be said about something possibly working. I will tell you what does not work. Gray and Mopé in a 4-4-2. It was such an absolute disaster class last week to start that game. Is Onana fit? We don't know. We think it was basically a couple of days ago at the presser. It was a wait and see. We saw him come off with what looked like he came off at a somewhat normal time, but he looked to be limping off at the
it was a groin
Old Trafford.
injury, wasn't it?
Well, it was something I remember in the post match. I said, I really hope that's not an injury because it looked it didn't look scary, but it would have been scary if he'd have missed time. But he did train last week, and so it made you think he might be up for it.
A niggle or a pull more than anything. It just depends how much we need him because Dyche just seemed to prefer to keep them out and get them back to full fitness rather than making any risks. But why we've only got, was it 7 games left now? Can I do maths properly?
7 games. Somebody
said. So we've got 7 games left, this being one of the 7, obviously.
Right.
It might be worth throwing him in there if he can do it.
It's just all in. And at this point, I do worry a little bit that I said it in our group chat. I worry that if the game is, let's just say it's 2-1 on about 70 minutes or so. I hope that we're at least going for it and pulling for the point. I worry that Sean Dyche might be thinking, hey, let's get back to Goodison and not injured and just get back and focus on the home games.
Yeah.
Again, it's a scary thought because we need something seemingly from a lot of games, but we all know how our away form has been. Having said all of what I just said, though, he did go for it against Chelsea. I don't trust him to be consistent with these subs from week to week, and I wish I did, but we've just seen it go so south. He got every decision wrong against Man United. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
And so it's frustrating to a new level.
It's United it was one of those games where going into it, I knew that I wasn't expecting much from us. Obviously, United have had one of the best seasons in a very long time. We're having one of our worst yet again.
Here we go. We've got a new 4-4-2 formation. Get in there.
Can you imagine me hitting stuff off this head? Look at the size of that. It'd be straight in.
To be fair, McNeil couldn't miss you. Yeah. With love and respect.
Come on, big head. I'd be slabhead of the Everton version.
Uh-oh. Boy, Harry Maguire is just one of the gifts that keeps on giving. One of the more punchable faces I've ever seen in my life.
The other night when they were playing Seville, he was awful. Seville had a 12th man with him. It was disgraceful.
I love it. I love it. You love to see it. That game was available for me to watch, but I didn't see much of it. I needed a little break from the football.
It was.
I did watch
hilarious.
I did watch most of the Champions League matches this week, though.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a guest. Oh, another technical team. I love it. What's up, Wezzo? How are you, buddy?
Hey, Dave. Technical team. Who is this?
He's no. It's somebody changing the ticker on the bottom. But I'm hoping he doesn't change it much because that would mean there's a goal and I haven't seen it yet. So I'm hoping for no spoilers here. Harrison Reed seems to have come up somewhat injured. He's going off, but he's jogging off, so he might be coming back on the pitch. We shall see. But that would not be the best thing in the world for Fulham fans. This game's been nothing real. It's been back and forth. Nothing real of note. One decent chance, but nothing much now. I really want to see a Fulham win. It's not the end of the world if Leeds find a draw here, but they're already 2 points ahead of us with better goal difference. So let's see. Hang on. Speaking of which, Leeds are on the break. No, it's stopped here. So if Leeds do get a point here, they're 3 points up with better goal difference. So in that realm, you could say that it's sort of an extra point. But having said all of that, Leeds' last 2 matches, they've been outscored 11-2. And I say that because let's say you have a 3-goal difference. Leeds have proved that they can lose games by that margin, so it's really still up in the air.
Yeah. We was talking about this the other night at home, and Leeds apparently have the worst run of games towards the end of the season now. They're the ones.
That's ours, though. Our schedule's so ridiculous.
I can't look at it and see.
Let me have a look.
Getting points from anyway.
I heard that, and then I heard on a past broadcast that West Ham had a bad run as well. But West Ham just have such fixture congestion, I think, and they've looked a little bit better. I think it's because of the European games for them that they're going to be. And now they have 2 more, by the way, since they advanced in the Conference
thankfully.
League. So, see, how can anybody buy this? So Leeds next week host Leicester, then they go to Bournemouth. And I understand that Bournemouth have been better as of late, but just pointing to positions in the table, first off, if you host Leicester, that's a game that you must win or must not lose.
I don't think they'll win that one.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. 3 out of Leeds' last 6 games are against teams in the bottom 6 because West Ham, they have them in the penultimate game of the season. They do go to Man City, they host Newcastle, and they host Spurs. So you could even say that 2 of their 3 harder games are at home. And I understand their home form's not been great as of late, but having said that, you're always going to take a home game at Ellen Road over going on the road, I would think.
Newcastle, City, Spurs will be ones that they probably lose regardless of where they are. Because,
you think so? I'm not buying Newcastle got embarrassed at Villa last week, and I know Villa's on great form. I understand that, but still, Newcastle have left a lot of these road games late with the exception of West Ham, and it sort of makes you worry. It's like that. It's like the Arsenal syndrome. Arsenal can't do this all season. They can't give all their fans heart attacks, and they did it again yesterday, only this time it was for a draw instead of a win. And you start to wonder when that luck is going to run out, right? Meanwhile, I mean, you know how it is with the top 4 or 5. You've got other teams chasing Newcastle like a team across the park, and you know that they're going to get the calls, and it becomes a matter of, are Newcastle going to have any of these decisions go their way? Maybe. Don't know.
The way I look at it is it's dead simple. It's like Arsenal haven't been fighting like this for a title. They've been fighting, obviously, for top positions in the table, but not for a title at all, and that makes you nervy. I know they've got a few decent players that are used to it, who have come from the likes of City and stuff like that. Right. But Newcastle, the same. This is the highest they've been in the table for years now. And when the nerves start getting to you, it's whether you channel them nerves and do better off them, or it's whether you're sitting out there and you're a bit shaky. And that's what we're going to see towards these last few games now. Can they take the pressure of seeing it out to the end?
Arsenal are doing a fantastic job of bottling this right now. And listen, to be fair, I heard Gary Neville say it the other day. Sir Alex Ferguson used to say, if you had one game to win the league, would you take it? And of course, everybody will always say yes. Arsenal's got that next week, no matter what happened this week, last week, the week before. If they win against City, in all likelihood, the league is theirs.
The league is going down to this game between City and Arsenal now. Whoever wins that game is going to win the league.
And it's fun from a neutral fan perspective, if we can sort of put that hat on. I really don't care if either one of them win the league, if I'm being completely honest. So that's one where we might actually just do a neutral watch along, just because it'll be such a fun game, back and forth. I'd be shocked if there wasn't at least 4 goals in that game, and probably more. Should be very end to end and back and forth. So we'll see. I also, at that point, might be just completely sick of football in general, because we might be in the bottom 3 with no hope. So, yay. What a life.
It was the other night. What game was on after our Fulham game? It might have been a City game or a United game. And I was just like, I'm not watching this. I can't.
City were playing. I remember that because Haaland was scoring, and I had him on fantasy. That's the only reason I know this.
I live in a mixed Everton City household, don't I? So if we're not watching Everton, it's usually City, unless it's someone else decent worth watching.
Is that your brother? You said
I'm going sitting upstairs. I can't watch football right now.
Was it your brother that's a City fan?
No, it's my best mate that's a City fan. We're all Blues and on.
Gotcha.
Headlocked into being Blues.
Hey, decision, no headlock.
Yeah. My little brother is refusing to come and watch us against City, though. That was what that was.
By the way, I have a lot to say about this, and I'm going to curb a lot of it, but would you like to address what was said yesterday in that nonsensical statement? Go ahead.
I have dealt with a lot of narcissists in my time, right? And when I read that, I was just like, does this man, can he detach himself from being up his own bum enough to understand what he's actually just said and done? It's like
it's not real. I really thought it wasn't real at first.
It was exactly 110% gaslighting. That's what it was. It's just completely trying to alter reality to suit what he has to say and what he thinks, so that we all sit there and go, "Oh, Bill, we're really sorry. We'll stop now."
When I read what he put in that, when they released the accounts, and I remember reading that and saying, that's one of, if not the worst things I've ever read in my life. Surely it can't get worse. And it didn't even take him a couple weeks. Shocking.
No one signed off on that either as well. He's just sat down on his computer and gone, you know what? Watch this now. Look what I have to say.
It has to be.
No one has signed off.
So Everton Twitter was quite a show yesterday in terms of the reaction.
It was quite funny, though. We are hilarious when we're faced with trauma.
Yeah, we are. But it's just it can't be said enough. The fact that comes out the day before the game, it's just a slap in the face to everybody.
It's just like he doesn't understand at all, like how important today is for us. He might understand it in terms of, oh yeah, maybe we do need to win this one, and that is as far as he goes. He doesn't understand what it actually means, especially to all the people who go down every week, get up at 5:30 in the morning to get dragged down to London with the likelihood of not even knowing if they're going to get anything out of it.
Right.
And they've got to sit there now with that hanging over their heads when it's done on, what's it called? Match the day. What are they going to be discussing? They're going to be discussing Big Bill and his statements again. And that's all he ever wants. He just wants...
It's a joke.
...the light to be on him. When in reality, all he needs to do right now, if he wants unity with the fans, is to keep his mouth shut.
That's all.
We're used to him not saying anything to us anyway. I'd rather him say nothing than turn around and flip us the middle finger.
Well, it's funny you say that, because so many fans for so long have said we just want communication and we just want a response from the club. Okay, from a technical standpoint, if I'm playing devil's advocate, we got a response. But it's funny how it's just it's so much worse when this response actually comes. And that's from top to bottom, whether it's Baxendale, whether it's Mashiri, no matter who it is. It just makes it so much worse. That stupid video Mashiri put out a couple months ago, so nonsensical. Everything that comes out of Ken Wright's mouth, it's such a joke. It is an actual joke. If we weren't Everton fans and we were watching this from the outside, we would never stop laughing. Yeah, we would never stop laughing, and all we would be doing was saying that this can't be real, that it's a soap opera, no pun intended, with Coronation Street and all that. But it's just a joke. It's an actual joke.
It's like that with with Grant and Sharpie on banners, question mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. It looks like me when I'm kicking off over text. Like, what he doesn't understand is if he has this big love for Sharpie, because that is a difficult one, and a lot of fans, especially fans who watched him play, struggle with that one. But you've put this man in the firing line, and now you're crying that he is in the firing line. Whose fault is that, really?
And he knows he can, and he, like you said earlier, he knows he can tug on that heartstring by throwing his name out there. It's such a
Which
joke.
is just manipulation in its own accord. Get rid of all the Sharpie banners, but the rest of them doesn't change anything about them. And this thing about Denise being the best in the business is just ridiculous. Well, where has he got that from?
Well, okay, let's touch on that, because what people aren't talking about is the fact that he basically just threw her completely under the bus, right? He just people.
I don't run the club. Denise runs the club.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, okay, so the club's obviously been run into the ground. That's not even close to debatable. That's just an absolute fact, whether you care about the club or not. The club's been run into the ground. So if you're saying that you're not doing it and she's one of the best in the business, basically what you're saying is it's all her fault. And thanks. Yeah. It's interesting you finally took a break from saying it's just the fans' fault to say that it's Denise's fault or a previous manager or whatever, but it's all a joke. And I don't know how else to get the point across. Again, yeah. I could use colorful language and choice words, and I could probably talk about it for about an hour. But at the end of the day, it's so infuriating. And this is coming from someone, I spend a lot of money to go overseas and go to these games. I don't spend near the time and money that people locally do. And so it really makes you think about them and just feel what they're going through. It's just so annoying. And here we are, still going every single week, still on these streams, still going to matches, still spending the money on the trains, still spending the money in the ground on food and drinks. It's not cheap.
It's not. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's just a lack of care. And I don't know, appoint someone who knows how to care at this point. I don't really care what he does, but I think after that statement coming out, it's had no sign off from PR people within the club or nothing from Mashiri himself has gone, you know what, Bill, whack that out. It doesn't look like it anyway.
Right.
So I think that's just going to deepen the divide. If Mashiri wants to keep hold of this club and he sees some value in us somewhere, he knows now he needs to get rid of Bill Kenwright once the stadium's done.
It's his best.
I think that's what we're waiting for, though. We're waiting for him to cut the ribbon on the stadium. Denise has basically ran the whole club and ran the building of the stadium herself as well. The woman mustn't sleep. But
I just wonder if you're so vital to Everton, the biggest Evertonian, whatever, if you're so vital to Everton and you don't run the club, what is it you do exactly?
Yeah, apart from make money off us every year.
Right. That's a shot. Oh, it's blocked in the box. That shouts for handball. It's a good chance for Fulham. There is a game going on, but obviously, I'm sorry, that is full. We've got a little bit off a tangent, but it's relevant news to Everton right now because it's something that's, I mean, we all know about the All Together Now campaign. If you don't know about it, check out Twitter or any social media website and you can figure out about that. All of these protests, all of these marches for months, and then you come out with that.
Yeah.
The one thing you decide to respond to.
That's going to stop all of that in the slightest. It's just
absolute delusion at its finest.
Yeah, it's a complete lack of understanding as to what the actual volume of the situation is. Like, All Together Now has been a very recent thing where a lot of Blues have got together this season and thought, you know what, no, we're finally done with it now. But people who are on this campaign now have been running their own campaigns, not just the 27 campaign, because I know people have things to say about that. I'm not getting into that. But these people have been going as individuals, as groups together for years now, probably longer than I've even been alive, kicking off about wanting change and wanting owners out and wanting Kenwright out. And it's been such a long-winded process for Everton fans to get this growing as much as it is now. I don't know how he thinks there's any coming back from it. When it's at the volume it is right now, it's unreal that he thinks that there's anything he can do other than stepping down.
Right. And he won't. We know that. I guess there's some weird optimism that fans have that just it would, it's just not going to happen. I don't know what the scenario would have to be for him to actually step down. It's just not going to happen.
Dave said there, it needs to be investment. We need another board member, basically, to replace him.
Which, again, we've heard that's quote unquote eminent, and he skirted around that issue. Is it half that, or is it quarter? Whatever he said in his stupid letter. And so we don't even know if that's really. We've heard that it's eminent for a while, though. I really don't think much has changed along those lines. There will be investment eventually, but when that happens, only anyone knows. Because I do think that. I just don't know the time frame on when it will happen. We're too busy trying to work out the wrongdoings in terms of financial irregularities. Thanks, Ken Wright. We appreciate you again. But I'm sorry, that wasn't you. You don't run the club. Never mind.
Denise, best in the business, Denise. It's all
best, one of the best in the business, universally. Yeah, if I were other Premier League teams, I would love Denise running Everton Football Club. I would certainly say she's one of the best in the business. She's helped everyone else.
She's done really well, obviously. You know, I mean, she's been looking for another job for 18 months now and really succeeded on that front. So she must be dead good at what she does.
Frustrating. It evokes a lot of emotions, quite frankly. And again, I didn't think any statement / letter could get worse than what I read a couple of weeks ago when the accounts were released. That was crazy. Yeah, Alan said a lot. He has, but we've heard this before, Wuzzo. So like it's been quote unquote eminent for quite some time now. I will say, Alan Myers also said something along the lines of, "I hope that these." I don't want to misquote him, so I'll let you find it on Twitter. But basically, even Alan Myers was criticizing some people at the top, and it elicited a lot of comments of, if Alan Myers is criticizing it, it's time, something like that, and it kind of came off as a somewhat comical moment. Weston McKennie looks as though he's been given a yellow card. That would be the second for a Leeds player in the first half. He's got to watch himself because he's been in card trouble in the past.
They get very
it's all these Americans
very quickly, don't they? Like,
Who's
I know
Leeds?
Under Dyche, it took us longer for our heads to drop, but we do let ourselves get a little bit down and out when we start doing bad. But Leeds get violent. Yeah. Like, they just get so stressed. It's unreal.
Yeah, they really they toe the line too, and it's tougher for them because they're in a little bit of, well, actually it's about the same in terms of both of our squads right now with injury trouble, but they really do toe that line because they can't afford to lose a lot of these players. Weston McKennie's one of their best midfielders. Yeah. That's not an American shout, by the way. He actually is one of their better midfielders, especially given the fact that Tyler Adams is out. That was kind of the one holding their midfield together. He's been out a few weeks now. And so they really need to step up they really need a couple of these players to step up. Haven't seen much from Rodrigo. Not much from Sinistera today. So I'm not sure. Again, it hasn't been much of an offensive game. As far as an early kickoff game, it's one that you're just kind of waking up and watching because it's on. Obviously, it affects us, but not much to speak of. It's not that we're ignoring the game. There's just not much to report. So, and plus, I'm sure you'd rather hear us banter on about our chairman, our board. They made sure to say your chairman and your board at least 4 or 5 times in that stupid letter yesterday.
That's one of the first things they'll tell you in anything based on when you're doing English writing skills, is that if you are writing to someone, you personify it to that person. Fantastic. So you say ours and yours rather than mine. Love and it. That is classic writing skills from our actor producer friend, Bill.
Our chairman.
Yeah, our savior.
Chairman Bill. Can't say Bill. Has to be Chairman Bill.
Yeah. William.
It's a good question from the Blues. How would you feel if we played Pato, Godfrey, Keane, Tarky, McNeil? McNeil in the back 5.
I'm not playing McNeil at the back.
Mate, what are you on? I'll have something. He's
not
what you're
quick
having.
enough to be able to transition.
I will. He might have meant. Maybe he meant Makalenko. And even if you didn't, the Blues, I'm gonna ask you to pretend that you did.
Politely
just to save. I mean, I don't like it because I want to see the team actually go for it. He's played there this season. Well, I mean, not for very long, has he? What am I missing here? I don't remember McNeil ever playing in a back 5 under Sean Dyche. Was it under Lampard?
Did he with Lampard?
I'm not denying that
he did. It was
I'm not denying it. I just don't remember it. When was this? Was it against Arsenal?
Was it West Ham or Forest? It was
if it was West Ham, it was under Lampard then.
And him and Iwobi got pulled back, and it was probably the best we did in that game.
As a wing back away against Spurs, says Chris Leitch, but again, that's under Lampard. Under Deitch, I've not seen McNeil play as a wing back because Deitch has kind of revitalized his position as a midfielder, and he's been a mainstay on the left side. Anyway, to answer your what I'm missing is our left back is useless. Yeah, but he's a left back, and I'm not going to. I won't say he's completely useless. What I'm saying is now the people that we've tried to throw at left back are completely useless. Ben Godfrey at left back is a liability times 5. I don't want to see Godfrey at left back again. And quite frankly, right back's not much better. But Godfrey at left back is worse. And I understand Mikalenko is not the greatest choice in the world, but I just think he's better than the alternatives. Let's just, for argument's sake, I don't want to get, but let's just say McNeil has played left back. The answer is no. I would rather him where he is in the midfield because he's been arguably our best player other than Tarkowski in the last 2 months.
I've really, really enjoyed watching McNeil under Dyche. I think he's really come into his own.
Right.
I don't think he's got the pace to be a wing back either. Mikalenko is bad going forward, but out of between him and Godfrey in terms of defending on the left, I'm not going to say in terms of general defence. If we put Mikalenko in the centre over Godfrey, that'd be ridiculous. But
I'm not denying that in certain situations that 5 at the back. Sorry to interrupt, Amy. I'm not denying that certain situations 5 at the back could work. I just don't think McNeil would be the one to play that 5. Yeah. I don't know.
We need, if we're not transferring Bargoed by FFP in the summer, we need a new left back, a reliable striking option, straight out, and we need some probably in the midfield, maybe a little loanee that can just go in as and when we need him, just in case.
Mark Burton chiming in with the billion there. What I will say is I'm actually more than any other position, if we do see Nathan Patterson start on the right back, I'm actually the most scared because he just has a tendency to attack a little bit too much and try to read the pass and jump the route, if you like. That's an American football term, but jump the run, probably a better term. But the point being, he gets caught out of position a fair amount. And so I'm a little bit worried about getting torched on that side. And hopefully, I don't even know if Nathan Patterson will start because you thought if he was fit last week, he would have, given that Seamus Coleman was out. I don't know if Deitch was kind of experimenting. Fulham are on the break here. Should have done better. They have a corner, though, 42 minutes into that one. I don't know. I think that the options. What's that?
How bad must we have been last week if Fulham are still 0-0 at Leeds now?
Did you
I
watch
was there.
Last week?
We got run over.
That's one of the worst.
Double decker 10A ran over, and then the 89 came straight after it.
I hate to say I'm very careful when I say that we don't put in effort because sometimes effort comes in places that you don't see on the broadcast. There's a lot of ways that you could spend that. From a neutral perspective, there's nothing that you could look at that Everton showed last week that couldn't be described as just gutless. They looked like they gave up.
As soon as their second goal went in, the Reds dropped straight away, and then obviously the atmosphere in the ground, we can see them not putting it in, went straight down. That third went in, I think there was more Fulham fans left in the ground, and I do not blame anyone for walking out of that game. It was awful. I was sat on top of the upper Gladdy, and I was thinking, if I threw myself off here now, at least it'd stop.
Yeah, I'm not personally, I don't leave match early, but I understand. Again, I'm not throwing people under the bus if they made that decision. You pay your money, do whatever you like. But
it was dire. It was just awful. But it was he could have done with making changes at half-time. It was the midfield substitution that was a bit of a weird one when Mopé should have been dragged off long before that.
Mopé should have come off at halftime.
The players that really did carry on pushing was James Garner and Ellis Sims when he came on.
And even McNeil to an extent, but
yeah,
McNeil, he couldn't do it by himself. Iwobi had another shocker. It was almost Tarkowski had his worst game of the year, and he made Michael. Both of their mistakes made the other's mistakes look worse because now all of a sudden, if they're getting caught out of position, the other has. It was an awful game from start to finish. Other than the obvious when McNeil scored, you know what? I shouldn't say that. It wasn't start to finish. McNeil scores the goal. We have a decent finish to the half. We come out in the first few minutes of the second half.
We were all right for 10 minutes.
A little bit better. You could argue we should have been up 3-1 at halftime. So I need to back off of that statement just a little bit. But as you said, when the second goal goes in, the game's over.
It was a decent first half, an okay 10 minutes at the beginning of the second half, and the worst rest of the second half you've ever seen. Let me do maths. I'm terrible at maths. 35 plus the 6, 41 minutes. It was the worst 41 minutes of Everton's season.
Oh, numbers are hard.
They are hard.
Appreciate everybody in the chat. We see you over there. Thanks so much for joining us today. Amy and I can have a great time talking to each other, but it's fun talking to you guys as well.
Where are our other friends? I got excited. Ryan was like, everyone's joining today.
They might just be honestly, they might just be waiting. I wonder if they know that they can join, which because we didn't make it clear. So perhaps they're waiting until I think a couple of them might have been under the impression that they would join for the pre-match, which is going to be in about 45 minutes time. I usually will do that an hour before, so when the team news comes out. So but if anybody sees, you're more than welcome to come on, Jeff and whoever. I know Jeff was in the chat a bit ago, and we'll put it in the chat here in just a bit. This is the worst I've felt all season in terms of the team that's the only time I thought the team gave up. I know the West Ham game was ugly. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. There wasn't much attack, if you like. The Brighton game felt bad on every single level in terms of efforts. Fulham last week was the only time I felt near that. Even in the crap games against Wolves, Southampton, whatever, I never felt that the team actually gave up except for last week and then against Brighton as well.
To be fair, I didn't go to the Brighton game at home, so it would be rude for me to comment on how I felt sat in the stadium watching.
You're not even a fan.
I know. Can't remember what my excuse was. That means it wasn't a good one.
You can have any excuse at this point. That's the thing. We used to look forward to this on weekends. I don't look forward to watching Everton anymore. At least not at the moment.
Knowing I've got to be there on Thursday. Knowing I've got to go and watch us against City. And we were decent against them away. It was one of our best performances under Lampard, that. But
I'm so sad about Thursday. I was meant to be back in town for this game, and I've had to postpone, unfortunately. So this was good. I know. The plan was to be back Thursday for the running, and then be there the rest of the year. But I have a lot. It's good. It's good to be busy. Again, most of it is because I've got this new show going and like things are going well. So I'm not complaining. It's good, but it's still kind of sad because I had planned on seeing my friends, you know.
Who's talking about me?
Oh, no, sorry. They're not here. I was just pointing at the city of Liverpool behind me. My friends.
That's rude that he wasn't referring to me as one of the friends. You know what your friends are, whatever. 45 minutes of life that we will never ever get back.
Halftime 0-0 at Craven Cottage.
Oh.
This has been one of the more boring games we've seen, quite frankly. There's not much to report at all. And honestly, that's what I expected. I really didn't see Fulham and Leeds as a game that I mark on my calendar as something to check out. But
yeah,
live look at the table is coming at you here in a bit as I get it pulled up, because let's just have a look at what it might look like if Leeds were to pull out a draw today. They would still be in 16th on 30 points. Again, the goal difference is on 20. So if you think about it, if we were to catch them with the 3-point addition, hopefully we can find a 2-goal win rather than a 1. But I guess that wouldn't really matter anyway because they have more goals for as well. So we would actually need to pass them up. They've scored a lot of goals, 40 goals for a bottom 6, or 40 goals in terms of the bottom 9 league that we described a while back is second only to Leicester. Of course, that league is now bottom 4, bottom 5, but that's another story. But 60 goals conceded. They are tops in the PL on goals conceded on 60. That's a whole lot. And a lot of it's been the last couple of weeks. But, man, you talk about a team giving up. I mean, you can talk about Leeds because in the last 2 weeks, they've just been absolutely shocking, especially against Liverpool. I mean, honestly, Liverpool probably could have put 10 in that night. And you talk about being sick. I don't know if I've ever been more sick watching a game and having to root for you-know-who than it was the other night, because you can't celebrate when the goal goes in. So it's almost sick, even though it's the result we needed.
The first one went in and I was like, General Everton swearing at the telly. And I was like, no, wait, never mind. I'm happy about that. And I wasn't happy about it. It was a horrible confliction.
If I went to Brighton, I would have asked for a refund. Hey, mate, we could have asked for a lot of refunds in the last couple of years if that's the logic we want to use. It's a sad state of affairs, ladies and gentlemen. Dave, I hate rooting for other teams too, buddy. But at this point, I've actually been decent about that. The last few weeks, I've not been actively rah-rah for these other teams because I feel sick
wrong,
doing it. Yeah, exactly. It really does. It really does. The only reason I watch Liverpool somewhat on a regular basis is because I have a rooting interest in that game against Liverpool all the time.
I want them to lose every time I watch them.
The team playing Liverpool is my second favorite team every single week. So now you're telling me I can't do that anymore? What a state of affairs we live in.
I'm sorry.
Back to the let me just we've been over this multiple times, but just to reinforce what we're looking at today, Forest have quite a superior goal difference or excuse me, quite an inferior goal difference. They're minus everybody in terms of goal difference. And so that is going to be basically an extra point there. We're level on points with them. We can't have Forest picking up a lot of points. They have 7 games left as well, and their remaining fixtures consist of this. They go to Anfield in what's supposed to be a revenge game because they did beat Liverpool at the City Ground earlier this year. I expect Liverpool to make a statement in that game. That might be something like a 5-0, 6-0 game, possibly even worse. We've seen Liverpool put 9 goals, 7 goals. Go ahead.
He's finally done what everyone has been calling for him to do forever, and he put Trent Alexander-Arnold up in the midfield, and funnily enough, the kid seems to actually be doing his job now. It's like he turned around and was like, well, I don't want to be a defender, so I'm going to be the worst defender you've ever seen. And now he's moved him a bit. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll play this game. Don't worry about that.
To be fair, he's been a poor defender for quite some time. But whatever.
I think he's done it on purpose, because he didn't want to be there. Like, I'm convinced he just threw his ties out the pram and was like, sound, watch me not defend them.
All I'll say is, luckily, I don't have to watch this game because I'll at least have Everton on instead because I can't do that again. Brighton come to the City Ground. Forest for a long time had a great record at the City Ground. The last couple of games there have not been that. They were embarrassing against Man United the other day, and I understand United are a good side, but to not register a shot on target at home, it doesn't matter who you play. That's a bad performance. And so Brighton on form at the moment go into the City Ground. I expect them to not get much out of that. They go to Brentford, who have been somewhat shaky in terms of getting wins. But then they host Southampton, and you have to think Forest are going to get a result from that. I know what Southampton did yesterday against Arsenal. I understand that. But except for that game in the last 6 to 8 weeks, whatever, Southampton have been shocking and as good as down. So obviously after that, Forest's games get a little bit more tough, but we just hope that they don't have many more points on the board. We'll get to the others in just a bit, but I want to welcome in our good friend, Wezzo. Dave, what's up, buddy?
What's happening?
Not much, bud. We're trying to laugh our way through this shambles of a season. But you know what? Our game hasn't even happened yet, so let's try to maintain our positivity.
I am. I'm sorry.
And, okay, well, have so much for that.
Love yous and leave yous right now because it's 13:23 and I have important things to do before.
What do you have to do? Tell everyone.
We're no, I feel terrible bragging like Luke got his new job, so we're going for tea, posh tea, and then we're going to go and get bladdered after Everton lose. Oh. Not that I am pushing drinking alcohol or anything like that. Please drink responsibly, behave yourselves. Please don't feel peer pressure because I just said that. I feel awful. But I have to, look like a person, completely change my face.
Did you have your lash appointment? Look, I take that as a yes. I can never tell. My exes always got mad at me. I could never tell if they had a new haircut or if they had new. I don't know. It just kind of looks similar. Like you would have to get your hair cut to here. For me, not that far, but it would have to be very short for me to notice that you had your different hair. Like if you dyed your hair completely blonde, I would just be like, "Oh, hey, Amy, how are you?" I wouldn't know. I don't know.
Thanks. That's the man, I suppose. No men can. He come the other day after I got him done, and he was there for a solid 5 minutes, and I was like, "Hello," my face has changed, and he was like, "Oh yeah." So we're gonna go for posh tea. So I have to
safe travels. Be responsible.
Yeah, I'm always responsible. What are you talking about?
You've seen Amy's Twitter, you know that's bullshit. But we move
on. Score prediction before I go. I have been asked. I'm not being a narcissist, I swear.
We did this the other day. We said think with your head and think with your heart. So give us both predictions.
Okay. With my head, I am saying 2 on the Toffees. With my heart, I am saying 3-0 the Toffees. We do well against them most of the time, but because I've just said that, we're going to get absolutely battered because I'm a jinx.
This is coming from someone who predicted us to lose a couple of weeks ago to Spurs, by the way. Yeah, so the positivity has been reinforced.
There's no positivity. It's just logic. If we can beat them 3-0 and pull off the Palace performance and under Frank Lampard of all managers, surely Sean Dyche is going to make us win this one.
You just said in the same breath that it's just logic and then said that we would beat Palace 3-0 at Selhurst Park. So good luck with that. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, have a good day. Chris, you're going to have to kick me out because I never know how to leave this.
Easy to do. She gone. Thanks, Ames. We'll talk to you soon. I'll say honestly, well, you'll be safe. You're fine. I'm not your freaking dad. Anyway, Wezzo, what's up, buddy?
Oh, good, mate. I'm not as optimistic as Amy today.
I'm not either, buddy. What you got
Well,
though? Quick prediction. Head and heart. What you got?
do you know what? I can either see us getting beat like 2-0 or getting a point. I can't see us winning.
No, I've got it. With my heart, I'm saying we can find a way to nick it 2-1. But in my head, I'm never gonna pick us to lose. I don't care who we're playing. So in my head, I'm gonna say 1-1 draw. I think a draw. Ryan asked me earlier in the week if I would be happy with a draw, and I really had a tough time answering it just because I hate saying I'd be happy with a draw, but you have to be okay with it at this point, I would think, mathematically.
100%. I mean, you know, watching this Leeds game here, I mean, it's dire football to watch. Yeah. And you think that there was nothing in the game for either team, but there's a chance Fulham can still get into Europe, and obviously Leeds are fighting for against the relegation. So for them to produce this kind of football, especially after the way Fulham played last week against us, I know we played right into their hands, but they're actually playing really badly.
Yeah, it's just a poor game all around. I mean, this is the same Fulham that we saw last week, a listless, hapless club that we should have. I don't want to say we should have embarrassed them, but we certainly should have at least brought a little bit of the fight and acted like we wanted to be there. But this makes it worse because this is the team we saw. They're not there.
Yeah.
They have nothing to play for.
Well, I mean, you know, Fulham was one of, I suppose, our home bankers that we expected, especially with, you know, them losing 5 games on the bounce and us being at home with the crowd behind us, and it didn't happen. And it was for me personally, last week was a must-win game. It was not a must-lose game. It was a must-win, and they didn't win. But now we're pinning all our hopes up on, like I just said, Leicester away, where we've won 3 games in like 2 seasons away. Playing,
yeah, to be fair, one of them was Leicester, though.
one of them was Leicester, but we're banking on beating them. We're probably banking on beating Bournemouth last game of the season, and probably banking on beating Newcastle at home.
I actually think we do beat Newcastle. I wouldn't put any sort of hope in banking on beating Bournemouth, though, because what I've seen from Bournemouth the last few weeks is just a complete turnaround. And they were absolutely shocking, don't get me wrong, for most of the season. But it's just a different team now. Yeah, I don't know why I have the feeling. Sorry, go ahead, Wezo.
They could be safe by the time they come to Goodison last game of the season, nothing to play for.
I think they will be. Quite frankly, I think they're safe now, as silly as that sounds. I mean, I know there's a lot of games left to play, but I think Bournemouth just have a belief in the squad. And not to mention that there are so many more teams that are just worse off than they are anyway, that I don't think will pick up those points. I really don't think we see more points from Southampton. And it's going to be tough for Forest. I mean, Forest plays Southampton, so obviously somebody will get points there. But other than that, both of them, I think it's down. Ryan said it best. I think it's down to us and Leicester. And it's just a matter of if Leicester can put it together. I'm tired of hearing that they have goal scorers and that they have a team. Prove it. Prove it to me on the pitch, because they haven't. So
Leicester have got a proper tough run in as well.
Yeah, they really do. It's going to come down. It's just that game. I hate to put it down to one game, but it's just, if we lose to Leicester, we're down. That's all there is.
I think, you know, it's pretty much like you were saying before, on the flip side of the coin, where obviously you got Man City, Arsenal through the week. Whoever wins that game probably wins the league, and it's the same for us. If we beat Leicester, we probably stay up.
Yeah, and if not, it's a draw. A draw is not the end of the world. We have to think in that one we'd be upset given how Leicester have looked no matter where they've played lately. But man, it's that game is so winnable. You have to go forth in that one and put your best foot forward.
Well, I've said it for a while now. Like we're now relying on there being 3 teams worse than us to stay up.
Right.
Do you know? And you look at it and you think, after last week's performance, there isn't. I don't think there's 3 teams worse than us after that performance.
Only because I've watched a lot of Leicester football over the past month, I'll still hold on to the fact that there might be. I will say this: Forest are a worse team than we are. Southampton are a worse team than we are. Even given what they did yesterday, I don't care. It's one game. I've seen Southampton over the last 2 months. They've looked like they don't belong in the same league. Honestly, you can make a case that Leeds are a worse football team, but the fact is they still have more points on the board, and so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Leeds can do. Their run-in has 3 teams in the remaining 6 has 3 teams in the bottom 6 or 7. So it's not the worst thing in the world. All of a sudden, again, who becomes our friend? Do we want Leeds? Leeds play Leicester now. All of a sudden, we're Leeds fans next week, and it's such a weird circle, and all it is more frustrating by the week. I know you were in the comments, but just to get a quick rant from you, what do you think of our statement from Chairman Bill yesterday?
Just absolutely ridiculous, and it's like
my head almost exploded.
Look at poor me. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you've got thousands of fans who their life is Everton Football Club, and yeah, you've got your health issues, but so have many other people. You know what I mean? And it's not just like your physical health, your mental health is suffering because of Everton Football Club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to come out with this the night before a game, it's like it's like an attention seeker, isn't it?
It's so calculated and so it's such a slap in the face. And then the perfect cherry on top at the end with I'd love a week off. That would be nice, but I don't imagine. Fuck off.
Yeah.
So
would we. The only time that the only time we can get relaxed is when we've got safety and we've got the end of the season. But then we've got to worry about who we're going to bring in, who's going to be getting let go. Are we going to be in the same state as what we are this season and the last season, next season?
We don't have to worry much about who to bring in because we can't bring in anybody.
Well, I mean, we probably will be able to if we get investments. But
yeah. No, I'm being a little facetious here and just kind of, but no, I agree. I think that there will be a couple of players. Yerry Mina is going to leave. I can see Alex Iwobi leaving. Which, again, there were a lot of things mentioned, by the way. There was a graphic going around Twitter stating all the things that would happen if we got relegated. And a couple of those were bad, but there was one listed on there about us losing our highest paid players. Sounds like a good thing to me. Our highest paid players are mostly a liability, if we're being honest.
Yeah, the end of the day, I think, to have a football club as big as Everton and not have, regardless of, you think you're sort of unrelegatable, I suppose, to sort of make up a word, to not have players with relegation clauses in the contract. Obviously, them players won't be at your club next season anyway, because if they was any good, teams in the Premier League would want them.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't. Alex Iwobi talking about or Twitter talking about Alex Iwobi signing a new contract and him rejecting said contract. And the first thought that goes to my head is, who are you, man? And again, it's not that I don't support Alex Iwobi, but like, who else do you think is going to give you anywhere near a contract of that nature?
Someone will, though.
I don't know.
Someone coming up next season, like a Burnley or something.
I could see him doing well at Burnley.
Yeah, well, he'll probably, he'll be the Maxwell Cornet, won't he?
Hey, speaking of Burnley, I saw that Vincent Kompany is one of the basically if not the front runner for the Chelsea job right now. That would be an interesting fit.
Yeah, they've got it down to four in the shortlist, haven't they?
I think so. Well, I saw Nagelsmann was pretty much out, which was a little bit surprising to me, quite honestly. I think it's because he wanted it right away. He basically wanted to just get going, have a shot at have a shot at Madrid. But listen, Todd Bowley, I know people want to make American jokes, and that's all good, and I'd laugh at them too. But Todd Bowley has not a clue what he's doing at all. No. He's just splashing money around.
The thing is with that Todd Bowley, I think he's come in, not really understood what like football, soccer is all about. Taking people like guests of his into the changing rooms, or at half time, and being told that that he's not allowed to do that,
Right.
and he's like, well, I'm the owner of the club. It's comical, isn't it? You don't take your guests down. I think it was at a Champions League game or something they played, and he wanted to take his guests.
That I'm not sure. I know he was caught on camera. Somebody put a camera in his face, and he said that they were going to beat Madrid 3-0, which is the worst thing. We got some breaking news from Amy. I don't know who Amy's sources are, but Onana major doubt for today. We've got about 24 minutes until team news comes out, but let's just say, for argument's sake, Onana's out for this game. Are you going to try this nonsensical 4-4-2 again, or are you going to keep it a 4-5-1 and put somebody like Tom Davis in the middle?
You know what? It's a case of Garner didn't play that bad last week, but sort of for a bit of stability, I can see Tom Davies coming in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, he doesn't do the same job as Onana. He's not as good a tackler, but when it comes to putting his foot in, he's not that bad. No, I'm clutching at straws here. I'm trying to take the positives from it. But,
you know what, man? I'm proud of you for injecting some positivity into the stream. We do need it from time to time. But it's horrible to think about. But I don't know. The sad thing, I don't know who else. I really think, as a matter of fact, I think that if that's the case, I was going to say it might be a 4-4-2. Davis often, I know it hasn't been much, but when DCL starts, you will see a fair amount of Davis. It just has been that way in the past, with the exception of maybe the Arsenal game. That's a great move by Willian on the left. By the way, Fulham have a little bit of a threat.
Here's a curveball for you.
Go on.
How about playing Mason Holgate as a CDM? He's been there before, and he's done all right.
And having 5 at the back, or putting Keane on the bench?
No, playing as
I'm sorry, CDM. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
Yeah. He's been there before. He's done it, and he played all right.
So you've got your okay. So then, let's start with the defense anyway. Are you putting Mikalenko on the left, and are you playing Patterson on the right? We've had a little bit of a debate about that.
Yeah, I put in the comments before, and I know you're going to disagree, but I think Godfrey, and I know you just said that he's terrible at left back. I think the only time he really showed his weakness at left back was when we played Man United, and but then all the defenders were getting caught out with that long ball over the top. You know what I mean? He just was the scapegoat and got pulled at half time, right? So I think we need somebody with pace at the back to sort of like combat Eze and his pace. Mikalenko hasn't got that pace to do that, and yet he's more of a natural left back. But I don't know. It's
not. There's no right answer. Like it's frustrating. No, I understand. It's not like I love playing Mikalenko. I think people have that myth that for some reason I don't like it. I just think that he is a better quote unquote natural left back than Godfrey. It depends on what you're looking for. If we can see the physical Ben Godfrey that's actually going to play in your face football, of course I'm okay with Godfrey. We just haven't seen that in a while. Godfrey has some speed. I'm not denying that, but from a pure footballing ability, technical, whatever you want to say, he's just not that guy. He's not a Premier League top footballer by any means. Now, when he puts go ahead.
I think the problem with Godfrey is that he's had too many injuries where he's been out for long periods, and he's lost that physicality because maybe he's scared to go in for challenges in case he does get injured, and then he's out for another long period. So yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
This I will give a little bit of a pass to, because that Arsenal game was, quite frankly, after halftime, whether you agree with it or not, it became a throwaway game because we were just putting players on to get to Forest. That's just the reality of the situation. That's really, I want to say Holgate's come on again. I can't remember the game, but he's seen more minutes than that, but it hasn't been many. So you also wonder if you do throw Holgate on, you throw him in a starting role away. Is he, I mean, how much rust does he have? Is he going to be up for it? I love the passion. I don't know if there's anybody on the squad currently that's more passionate about Everton and more passionate in game. He just doesn't have the footballing ability. But then Mason Holgate, in my opinion, he brings the passion. He brings the fight. You're not going to say Holgate shows no effort. He just doesn't have it all from a footballing perspective on a top level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the team likes, there's good chemistry. I like Mason Holgate. He's one that I want to succeed. It hasn't been happening lately.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time for me that, especially last season when we had Keane and Holgate as our centre halves, where I thought when he played alongside Mina Holgate, he was a much better defender, and the same with Keane. But Holgate, I think, was more, he had a little bit more pace, and he was more aware of the dangers that were sort of building up,
right,
than what Keane was alongside Mina. But obviously, that when they both played together, they were terrible.
I just wish we could see a little dose of Yerry Mina. I just want to see if he's got. But I know I've heard the rumors in terms of contracts and all this. I sort of get it from a behind the scenes role if that is the case, whether he signed a pre-contract or he's planning it, whatever. It's not something I'm happy about, but it's no different than players like Cenk Tosin, amongst many others that I could give you, that just refuse to get in the squad. If Mina's fully, from a footballing perspective, strictly football, if Mina's fully fit and he's not playing, it's a travesty. And so there has to be 100%. Something more that we don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, probably if you sort of take out Tarkowski, Mina's probably our best centre half. In fact, you might even argue that Mina is our best centre half.
Right, and you'd have a case for that argument too. Even as with the exception of last week, as good as Tarkowski's been, you can absolutely argue Mina's our best one.
Yeah, and so, like you say, to have him sitting on the bench with his, his experience and whatnot, and when Keane got brought back into the squad, everybody was quite sort of shocked. But he's done okay, Keane. He hasn't sort of like set the world on fire apart from that wonder goal, obviously. But
yeah, and honestly,
defensively,
the wonder goal canceled out his earlier mistake. People forget he gave away a penalty that game too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Not to be that guy, but it's just a fact.
But yeah, I mean, if you ask most Evertonians, you'd probably play Mina with Tarkowski, rather than bringing Keane in and playing him with Tarkowski.
Under no circumstances are you benching Tarkowski at this point. He's become I can't believe Dwight McNeil is the next person out of my mouth, but it's true. You can't bench McNeil under any circumstances at this point.
No, he's basically doing what Alex Iwobi did under Frank Lampard. He's had like a resurgence of the player that he was when I think he was at Man United his early career, and then he moved on to Burnley, wasn't he?
Believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, but like under Sean Dyson, that he had a resurgence in the way he was playing, and since Dyson's come into Everton, that's what he's had, because he wasn't brilliant when he first come in, the same as when Iwobi first came to Everton. He wasn't great, and Frank come in, changed his position for him, and his favourite position, and then he was amazing, wasn't he? Most of the
that's gone now, though, isn't it? I mean, we haven't seen a good Iwobi in a while, and I was one of his bigger defenders, 2-3 months ago, because I don't know if it was just myth or just thinking back to last season, but it's just been shocking the last couple of weeks, and I wonder if it's because it's actually been that bad, or if we just now expect more. I wonder if this is sort of the same as we saw about a year ago. I don't know.
Well, maybe that this is part of the reason is why he's saying. I mean, if you was a professional footballer and you've got no real allegiances to Everton, as in the likes of Tom Davies and Seamus and all that, if you've got no real allegiance to Everton, do you want to stay at a club that's the last 2 years constantly struggled?
It's frustrating. I can see
You know,
that.
like you say, it's one of them. You're not world class level.
There will be players that are down for the fight. I'm not denying what you're saying, and I'm not denying his mentality, whatever it may be. There will be players that say, hey, we're building something here. But to your point, there's been no indication that we're building anything. It's only seemingly gotten worse. So at some point, you've just had enough. Fulham have a very good chance. It's in the net, 1-0 to Fulham.
Happy days.
That is a massive strike. It's come on the half volley, and it's off the bar and in the net. It's 1-0 to Fulham on 57 minutes.
Just as a matter of interest there, Chris, how did that go in before it went in over here?
Hey,
it went in the States before it went in here.
We've got the normally when it's on this particular network, it's I'm a bit behind, so I guess I caught the good feed this time. I don't know. This isn't an illegal stream either. This is our normal US network.
No, mine's not. Mine's the usual British network.
Yeah. It's a bit of a, well, you've got it in front of you, but just for our audience, if you don't have it in front of you, it's a great cross. And the keeper gets a bit of, Meslier gets a bit of a hand on it. And it's kind of, he puts it up. It almost looks like, you know what? I think that's on Meslier because if anything, as a keeper, you're taught to either push it up, push it out, or with a closed fist. That's pretty bad. It falls. I didn't see the goal score. But it falls, like I said, on a half volley. Harry Wilson. It's off the half volley from about 9 or 10 yards out. It's a great strike. I mean, it's one of those where you just try to put your foot through it, something our strikers have no clue how to do. And
that keeper, there was a stat last week when they got beat last week. He had 11 shots on target and conceded 11 goals.
Who's the keeper?
Meslier, yeah.
Wow. That's special. Yeah. You don't get any points for that.
No. But yeah.
Well, Leeds have conceded the most goals in the Premier League. That's now up to 61. So the question becomes, do they have it in them to come back? Their away form hasn't been the worst in the world. We saw what they did at Wolves, winning that game 4-2 a few weeks ago.
Are we only one goal behind them on goal?
Now we are. After this goal, we're 1 goal behind. They're on -21. We're on -22. I believe I have that right. So, and again, none of it matters if we don't. Yeah, okay. Well, now you're ahead of me. So I don't know how that happened. With little reverse the course here. But yeah, none of it matters because we're more than, I think with Leeds and us, they have to have just another stinker of a game because we're more than capable of, I hate to be that guy, we're more than capable of losing this game 3-0 today. I hope that doesn't happen, obviously, but
yeah. I think like I say, you know, ultimately we need wins now. We need wins, but on our away form, you take points. You know,
I agree. Again, I don't agree with it, but I agree. You have to agree with it. It's been that bad, and honestly, it's worse because you have games like Forest that we just threw away.
Yeah. I mean, that's the bugbear of that game, innit? That's your bugbear in it. That one because of the subs.
Yeah, I was there, which makes it a little bit worse. But just even if I was just watching at home, I was fuming. I was so frustrated because it doesn't take a world-class manager to see what's going on in that game. I don't understand at that point why you had to be so stubborn. It's a good chance for Leeds there. I just don't get it. It's as clear as day that so many players are tired. It's not just one player that you can say, okay, come on. It's so many players. You've got to do something. And then again, just to make it worse, Forest got their second goal as a direct result of the subs that they made. It's just so stupid.
I mean, the thing is with Everton, because they've got such a small choice of first 11. Outside of that first 11, is not that well. They're not that great.
No,
and the first 11 is not that great. So you're always going to have players who are going to be playing most of the season,
right?
Do you know what I mean? You'll have maybe 7 or 8 of them players that are going to play 34, 35 games in the season. Well, plus, obviously cup games.
I described it to Jeff last week because we were talking off stream afterwards about this, and I was saying, a lot. Oh, hang on a second, we got a chance here. That's a foul. It's a free kick right on the edge of the box for Fulham. Should be a yellow card, quite frankly, if it's a foul. It doesn't look like it's going to be given. Terry Wilson again drawing the foul, having a great
Doesn't
second
seem
half
look
so
like
far.
much contact to be there.
No, but he stepped right on his foot, though.
Yeah, but I don't think he actually touched his foot. I think
he did from this. If they show you the next angle, Harry Wilson was looking for it. Don't get me wrong, but if they show you the next angle, he got him, and he has been given a yellow card. Jeff and I were talking off stream about it last week. Most of these teams, like let's just pick Leicester, just for argument's sake. Let's say their starting 11 is basically filled with players who are 6 out of 10 at bang average at best, 5, 6 out of 10, whatever. They will also have a bench that when you bring on a sub, he is also an average 5, 6 out of 10 player. Again, not great by any means. Everton, if you have your 5 or 6 out of 10, if we bring on a sub, he's a 2.
Yeah.
And that's what the difference is between Everton and a lot of these other squads that people just don't understand because they see our starting 11 or they see us just play insert game here. They just watch it for 90 minutes and they say, okay, Everton aren't that bad. What's going on? Yeah, our starting 11's average. It's not great, but it can get the job done. But then once you see these subs coming in, it becomes, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Yeah. There's not much.
Oh, it's off the bar.
There's not much to choose from off the bench. And I think we spoke about it against Forest was that he turned to his bench on 80 odd minutes.
Oh, Willian's just been. Did you see this? Sorry to interrupt. Willian's just been body checked into the boards there. Hang on, watch this replay if they're showing it.
Yeah.
Bang!
Walloped his head there.
That's ice hockey style.
Left his mark on there.
Sorry to interrupt you, mate. Talking about the bench, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was saying Sean Dyche is against Forest probably looked at his bench and go, who am I going to bring on? But like you said at the time, it wasn't about who he could bring on. He could freshen it up, bring on fresh legs.
At that point, the way it was going with Damari Gray, tongue hanging out of his mouth, looking to the bench on a yellow card, I might add, looking to the bench on 60 minutes, tired Decore, tired Onana, tired Five. I don't care at that point if it's me and you. If you've got the players that are that tired when Forest have just made their subs to come in with fresh legs, someone has to come on. I don't even care if you get Anwar El Ghazi back from last season to come on. Someone has to come on because it's just, that cost us 2 extra points that game. And let me give credit where credit's due. Making the subs he made against Chelsea got us a point back. And it's not been all bad, but the Forest game, again, can't stress enough. It's not just the fact that it got us 2 points. Would have been 1 less point for Forest. That game was so pivotal.
Yeah.
So, here's our mates.
There's Jeff.
Good day.
Hello, Jeff.
Good day. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, lads. Not bad. Sorry. Let me just...
What you got over there?
Sorry?
Nothing. Go on. What are you feeling? How are you getting on this morning?
Yeah.
Optimistic, Jeff. Have we got optimistic Jeff today?
No, we've got grumpy Jeff.
I think this is kind of a free hit for Everton again.
It's one of those where I would love to sit here and pull a unicorn down and go, we've got the players, we could do this, and we're definitely going to win. But unfortunately, like, my eyes work and my brain works, and realism just kicks in, and it's like, well, yes, we can win. Yeah, definitely we can win. Obviously, it's a game of football. Anything can happen.
Put it this way, right?
Would I bet money on it? No.
Is a situation for you, right? If they didn't have Roy Hodgson is the new manager, and they've had this managerial bounce, do you think we could have win that game today when he wasn't there? With Patrick Vieira there,
I don't think it's much different. to be
I
honest.
don't think. Yeah, I agree.
Don't you?
I don't think it's much different. No,
I don't
because
know, because they were on a disastrous run at the time.
They were. They had 5 straight
They were.
games with no four games with no shots on target, and the 5th one they got a late goal against Arsenal that meant nothing. So it's 5 straight games of just extremely poor form.
But saying that they were on a bad run kind of ignores the fact that so are we.
Well, we
And,
was on a
like-
pretty decent run at the time.
Hey up, Kev. Yeah,
We-
I mean,
we-
a decent run is basically, well, we got a couple of fortuitous home wins. Let's be as nice as possible and say,
I'll say we defended well against Leeds, either that or Leeds. Just and for the first half, defended well against Brentford.
yes,
A little, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but realistically, both of those games could have gone the other way. They had lots of chances.
Especially Brentford.
So you can't say we dominated or controlled the game or anything like that. Well, I'd love to be positive, and yeah, we could win. We could. We really could. We you know, it's anything is possible.
Of course it is. But like against Brentford, their style of football suited our defending because they were balls into the box to Tony, and Everton defenders will head the ball all day long coming into the box. It's when players play it to players' feet, strikers' feet. That's when they struggle. Players with quick feet.
I just want to address that. I don't want to dwell on the Forest game too much because we talked about it as nauseum, but you can't say that cost us points. We could have conceded anyway, even if we made subs. Davison said, yeah, but that's an absurd take because the lack of making subs and their making subs directly led to the goal. That's like saying you can't say let's just say Michael Keane gives up a penalty in that game on the 90th minute. That's like saying you can't say Michael Keane cost us the game if they equalize that just because after that we might have given up a penalty anyway. That's a ridiculous take, the Blues. Come on. That game was dropped directly because Sean Dyche didn't make the subs. And again, Sean Dyche has done a lot of things right. He got it wrong that day. And it's okay to sit here and say he got it wrong when he got it wrong. We should have won that game. Yeah. Plain and simple.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with you. The lack of subs cost us that. You know, we could have threw on an extra defender and shored it up at 2-1. You know, just an extra bit of energy into the team, and and he didn't make the subs till what 86th minute or something stupid.
I think they started. It was mid 80s when they lined up. They didn't get on until something like 88, 87.
So I would say it's right. What I would say is it's an understandable reticence from Dyche to make changes because he's not long been at the club. He's worked with the players for a short amount of time. He knows he can get a certain level of performance out of some. He's not sure at all what he could get from others. And so he's kind of in a position where he's thinking, well, we're winning and it's kind of working and we're mostly defending all right. So I don't want to make a change that will just break what is currently working to risk and it's a stickle. You know what I mean?
I can't buy into that, Jeff, to be honest, because I think rule number one as a manager, if you're winning and you've got 80 odd minutes on the clock and you're away from home, regardless of whether you don't know the players or not, you need to be bringing fresh legs on to shore up, you know, to hold on to what you've got. Like, doesn't matter whether you know the players or not. Rule number one as a manager, if you're winning with
that's not a rule. That's not
it is.
Rule.
You hold on. You hold on to what you've got.
We made 0 subs in games that we were winning and held on because we didn't make changes. But we just didn't make any substitutions at all.
Not recently
at all, though,
right? That's been a while since that's happened, hasn't it?
This season.
Against who? I'm not being controversial. I don't remember.
Under Frank, I think we made 0 subs. Okay, I can't remember, to be honest. I can't remember the specific games, but
2-0.
We made 0 subs in games.
2-0 to Fulham.
Oh, that's a bonus. Thanks, Fulham.
Now they're even on goal difference. So now a draw means We're level on goal difference with Leeds. Again, hey, thinking about it, it's just the reality of the situation. Leeds are even with us on goal difference.
Yeah, would you take a draw?
Yeah. It took me a while to answer that in the middle of the week because I don't want to admit it, but yeah, I absolutely would, mathematically and just given how our away form's been. I hate to say it, I hate ever playing for a draw, but I would take that.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like you've got to hope for points away from home. Obviously, we want the 3, but we obviously don't want to lose either. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we'd take a point away from home all day long, and hopefully win our own games.
We've got the team news in, Mr. Blue Skies. I'm trying to wait until I'm just trying to get the graphic, which has just come up. So let me get that on screen, boys and girls.
Win, Jeff. Win.
We've got Calvert-Lewin starting. It's Pickford, it's
What?
Mikolenko, Tarkovsky, Keane, and Holgate. We've got Holgate at right back, presumably. And then in the midfield, we've got Ganagay, Alex Iwobi, James Garner, Damari Gray, Dwight McNeil, Calvert-Lewin up top. It looks like it's going to be a 4-5-1 unless they do play a weird sort of 4-4-1-1 with either Gray or Iwobi in the middle. I'm assuming it's going to be more of an Iwobi in the middle, Gray on the right type situation. That's my guess. And then Calvert-Lewin up top. Now, if you know Stevie from the channel, he did say if Calvert-Lewin starts, he will eat his hat. And I have a picture of the message saying that. So perhaps post-match, when we see Steve, you can remind him of that because I certainly
almost 2-1 there. Leeds managed to mess. Oh, it's offside anyway.
Cool.
They messed up.
I've got to say, I'm absolutely stunned that he's starting. Obviously happy, but really surprised.
Given what he's been posting on social media, I did expect it. I
expected him to be part of the team.
Yeah.
And maybe come off the bench or something like that. But like after what happened in the Arsenal game, it's like, oh, Dom's back. He lasts 60 minutes. He's out for 2 months.
Well, yeah, but maybe that's why, again, let's just play devil's advocate argument here. Maybe that's why we didn't see him at all for the past couple of weeks. Maybe because that could have been, maybe he could have played, but Deitch was waiting until he is quote unquote fully fit. Yeah, I'm trying to be the optimist, Sean Deitch person at that point because you want to believe he's doing right for the team. And again, I'm trying to just look at this with I'm happy he's back. I'm supporting him because he's wearing blue, regardless of what you think of him from the past few weeks. That's the attitude.
I think you're right.
So I can't see that team sheet because it's too small for me to see on my phone. So thanks. So what is it? What is the full lineup again? Defense.
So Pickford in goal. The defense is Mikolenko on the left, Tarkovsky and Keane in the center, and then Holgate on the right. Interested to see how that goes. In the midfield, we've got McNeil, I presume, on the left. Let me just read it in order. Sorry, Ganagay, Alex Iwobi, James Garner, Damari Gray, and Dwight McNeil, and then Calvert-Lewin up top. So my assumption is McNeil's on the left. I actually think he's going to put Damari Gray on the right side and put Iwobi in a central sort of decoy.
So Garner is of the center two,
and then Iwobi fits in there somewhere. Now, is Iwobi going to play sort of in front? Or is that going to be a Damari Gray position with Iwobi still on the right? Don't know. I don't see that being a 4-4-2. I see it being a 4-5-1, but that's my guess.
I can see that being a 4-5-1. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those where
Ryan
we
said
do
this,
not
by the
have
way.
we do not have a great squad. We do not have a huge number of options, and Decore and Onana being out, and Coleman being out, that limits it anyway. So to me,
launched on the pitch there.
Someone's been launched on the pitch.
No, something's been launched at one of the players on the Leeds fans. Someone's being launched on the pitch.
We could have done with some of that at Goodison this season. Someone launched on the pitch.
preferably a player.
Yeah. I think Amy said on a couple of occasions she's almost launched herself on the pitch this season. So.
Yeah, she nearly launched herself on the pitch when Iwobi came up to talk to her.
Jeff, are you on your laptop there, Jeff?
No, mate, I'm on my phone.
Oh, right, you just got your laptop in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the stream's pretty good for you, like.
Yeah, I'm just using my phone, mate, because it's just I'm sick of it now.
Saying no,
So
Mope. Mope is on the bench, by the way. I mean, for the first time in a while, I feel like we actually have a bench that can sort of make an impact if something does go wrong. I mean, take a look at our subs. No, I don't want to see Patterson necessarily, but like at least he could come in and slot on the right side. You've got Sims on the bench. Mina's still on the bench. I don't think we'll see him, obviously, but Godfrey's on the bench. You at least have players that could come in and they're not being forced to start and play a full game. And I say that because perhaps these players that we've seen not in the best form can have a little bit more of an impact if they're only getting 15, 20 minutes. Trying to play optimist here. I don't know.
How long do you think that DCL's going to have?
65. Yeah, a little bit longer. Depend.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it depends on the game situation. If we find it 1-1, I think he does come off if we're trailing 1-0 or 2-1. I think he'll bring an Ellis Sims type on. But if it's something where we are kind of still in the game, I think we might see him for a bit longer, but it's not going to be a full 90 by any means.
No, we don't. I don't think anyone's expecting that, but it'd be
the
interesting to
optimism
see.
has gone slightly up. So my Mr. Grumpiness is slightly tempered.
How slightly?
I'm giving us a 50-50 of getting something from the game now.
From
50-50?
Is on record?
Yeah. Of getting something from the game. That doesn't necessarily mean winning, but of getting something from the game. Because before, I was not hopeful of us getting a win from this game. I really wasn't, because they've been in really good form. They've won their last 3. They've got goals in the side. They're a quick physical outfit. They've got pace, which always troubles us.
Yeah, they're very quick.
And we're still away from home in a ground that we haven't won at in a few years with fans.
Yeah.
So
that
exactly.
Elise and Eze, very quick players, very quick feet as well.
I'm worried about Elise a lot.
2-1.
2-1. Leeds have one back. It's 2-1 on almost to the 79-minute mark.
Patrick Bamford.
It would be our luck if Fulham were to blow this, but at this point, I don't care. I want Everton to win more than anything. These other results don't matter if we do if we do what we're supposed to do. But after last week's performance, my optimism on that front has gone way down. So
the thing is, you've got obviously the goal difference is a massive thing that can count as like an extra point.
Right, and at this rate, let's just say Leeds go down. Let's just say it ends up 2-1 and Leeds do end up losing this game. That means if we do find a win, even by 1 goal, we're now ahead of Leeds because obviously we have a 1-point advantage on them anyway, but then our goal difference will be better.
Not anymore because they've just scored. So
who the other team's playing?
No. I said if we win, that means we'll have a goal.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. Who's Leicester and
Forest
Forest
go to Liverpool, and Leicester, I forget who Leicester are playing. Let me have a look. I think they play tomorrow. That could be completely wrong. Leicester having I think this week Leicester had a fairly easy. Leicester host Wolves today. And then next week Leicester go to Ellen Road and play Leeds. So that's when it really everything gets tossed up in the air in terms of who we want to win at that point. Long term, I think you hope for a draw next week, even though it's another one of those games where, depending on the results, a draw in that game might see us in the bottom 3. But thinking long term, that might be better than one team getting 3 points. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah,
but we still got to beat Newcastle at home.
We got to beat Leicester. We got to beat Leicester, Jeff. That's what.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's like that's the game that if they beat us, I can't see us surviving.
If we go down and lose, that's it. That's if we find a draw, we'll have another conversation, and I think it could be okay. But if we find, especially if we lose something weird like 3-1, 4-1, whatever the case is, I don't see a way back from that. I don't see who else we can beat. I am weirdly, I don't know what it is about this Newcastle game. Maybe because I'm reminded of last season, of the games like Man United, of games like Chelsea at home last season, of games like even City at home. We lost 1-0, but you can argue that was one of, if not our better games, or if not our best of the season performance-wise standing up. We had chances to be in that game. The obvious handball that we didn't get. The point I'm making is Arsenal this season, we've seen these good teams come into Goodison and we show up for it. I've got this weird optimism about Newcastle next week, and I think we find a result from that game. Don't ask me this question in 2 hours because I might have a different answer, but right now I feel a little bit optimistic about that one.
No, I exactly agree with what you just said. I think the games that we, take away the Liverpool game, which was away anyway, but there's not many games with the big teams this season that we haven't been in.
Right.
From the very first game against Chelsea.
Which just goes to show, by the way.
What a save. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Jeff. That was a massive save. Should have been 3-1. Go on.
Oh, bollocks. But it just goes to show, and to me, this goes back to, this is on the players specifically, is that the fact that we can turn up against the bigger sides and go missing against the smaller sides and lose games that we shouldn't lose. Just goes to show the mental weakness, or I don't know whether you call it an arrogance, that they think they just turn up and play and it's okay, and then when it goes wrong, they don't know what to do. But when we're up against it, when we're the underdog, we seem to play with a different mentality.
Right.
Because it's like us against the world, kind of in their heads, it's just a scrap from minute one. And they know it's a scrap from minute one. And so they're fully up for it. But when we play the teams that we should win, or we should at least be competitively sort of in with a good shout of winning, we seem to not turn up. And that goes down to mentality, surely.
If there is a counter argument, or at least a bright side, at least we do sort of turn up against those bigger teams. And I say that because at that point, on any given night at Goodison, Everton could come away with the result, right? That's why even against the Newcastle, even against the Man City, maybe different city this year, given the fact that they are chasing the league. But what I'm saying is anything can happen. And that's why I don't, even though our schedule and our run-in is tougher, I just don't count them out yet. Until, like I said, everything to me, this entire argument is different if we go to Leicester and lose. But in terms of just trying to get a result, I think that at this point, anything could happen. I don't know. It's again, you've heard me before, be cautious or more hopeful optimism than anything. So maybe it's just that. But
the thing is, with the games that we've played against the lower teams in and around where we are, like the two Bournemouth games, the times we've been absolutely stuffed have been always away games. There's been no home games that I can recall where we've been absolutely played off the pitch, apart from maybe the second half of Fulham last week. Brighton, but Brighton, but they are a good team. Brighton, good passing team. This is where we struggle with teams that we pass the ball.
Yeah.
Defensively, when we've got teams that have slow build-ups, we can get into our positions and we can defend it, and balls that are played into the the front men, high balls played into the front, we can defend pretty comfortably. It's when we have teams that can pass the ball is when we struggle.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to cool my phone down because it's going to melt in a minute.
So Fulham have made 2 subs. Kearney is on, Solomon's on, Harry Wilson's off, and Andreas Pereira are off. We're almost to the 86-minute mark. It is Fulham by 2-1 at the minute. Leeds have shown they're up for it. I'll say that in the last 10 minutes. It took them a while to get going. A boring first half, quite frankly, but Fulham have looked quite the better side this half. They've had a couple just dynamite good saves from Meslier. And so we'll see. It's going to be an interesting last few minutes. I'm curious. I'm guessing it should be about 5 minutes of added time, I would guess.
Yeah.
What a play that Willian is.
My phone's gonna melt in a minute, so I'm gonna jump off.
No worries, Jeff. So, I think we'll probably wrap up an hour anyway.
So just before I go, my prediction for today, because we've got to do the score predictions, haven't we?
We don't have to, but we would like to, yes.
Well, it's one of those things that we're supposed to do, isn't it? So I'm going to shock everybody.
Oh, boy. 4-0
gonna
to
shock-
Palace instead of 3-0?
I'm going to shock everyone and say we score an early goal and hold on for dear life.
Wow.
And get a 1-0 win.
Positive, Jeff. Would love to see it.
I'm not sure. I think Jeff went off there and actually somebody else came on.
Yeah, who's that?
I think this video's doctored.
How much would we kill? How much would we just kill for an away win and a clean sheet? My God.
We've only won one away all season, and even in the bad years, we've generally won at least 2 or 3 away games a season.
Only two last season, if I remember right?
Exactly.
Hold on a minute, Jeff. When with the bad years, Jeff? Because this isn't particularly great at the minute.
Oh God!
You mean the Wimbledon and the Coventry?
No, but that's what he's saying. That's how much worse it is this season.
I'm looking at 50 in the rearview mirror. So when have the bad years been? Probably at least 60% of the years I've been an Evertonian. At least
we've had good times.
Relax.
We joke around about that all the time. Come on, lads. Jesus.
Yeah, on that statement, I
haven't gotten your live thoughts on that yet, Jeff. Go on, analyze Chairman Bill's statement if you like.
Narcissist, egomaniac, lacking self-awareness.
Oh no,
has tantrum on the internet. That's a fairly good summary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fairly short and sweet and to the point. I still can't believe it was a real thing that got released, and if it was approved by literally anyone, I'd be shocked. But
I just think he is so lacking in self-awareness and cares about one thing and one thing only, and that's Bill Kenwright. The idea that he's the biggest Evertonian. He isn't. He's the biggest Kenwrightonian. That's what he is. He's the biggest Kenwrightonian. He loves Bill Kenwright. Bill Kenwright loves Bill Kenwright. Yeah, he would literally back off into a mirror. He would, because he loves himself. Like he just loves himself so much.
The thing is what I said about that, right? Obviously, before I came on, I made the statements about Mashiri. After him coming out with that, obviously everybody's under the understanding that he's brought that out off his own back, and it hasn't been signed off by anybody at the club.
Yeah,
but that's given Mashiri the ideal bullets, or he's given Mashiri the bullets to fire to get him out that club, but he can't at the minute because there's nobody to replace him.
It's not that. That's not the reason why.
8 minutes of added time.
He is a beard for Mashiri. Basically, he's the idiot in front of the camera who takes all the heat while Mashiri's in the background skating by. If he gets rid of Kenwright, then everything is on him. He comes under full focus.
He just gets another chairman in.
If he did that. But what I mean is, while Kenwright's there, Kenwright's basically the target for everybody. We can all attack Kenwright because he's the face of Everton. He's the historical sort of issue that we can all sort of rally behind. And I think that
but
Mashiri has managed to avoid a lot of heat because he's in the background.
He hasn't got off
scot-free. But Kenwright does take some of the heat off him.
But if you're listening to the rumours about MSP, supposedly investing, they want a boardroom level people in that club as part of their investment.
Yes.
So I can't see them being given the opportunity to replace Bill and place their own chairman, and that's they're only going to be a minority shareholder.
I think what he
20%
will
or
go
something.
is, I think he's probably going to be like life president or something, with no actual function. He'll just be scooted in the background, and he's just like, they get wheeled out for certain things, but have no actual authority if we bring someone new in. But in the meantime, until we actually get some investment or bring some new people in, I think that Mashiri is quite happy for Ken Wright to keep shooting himself in the face.
But that's not going to appease the fans, making him life president. They want him out completely out of that club.
Nothing at this point is going to appease the fans, and I don't put that on the fans. I'm just saying, like, Mashiri doesn't care about the fans. Period. End of.
No.
So,
yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Well, you say that he sacked a load of managers because of the fans.
No, he hasn't. Wes,
he has. At the end of the day, Marco Silva was sacked because of the fans.
Did he appoint Rafa Benitez because of the fans?
No.
I can go both ways with that.
But Ken Wright didn't want him appointed either.
Yeah, and I'm not going to disagree with you there, but I'm not buying that. I can't have it one way and then not the other. And nobody wanted. Yes, the fans wanted Lampard over Pereira, but again, that's like taking a shitty beer over a less shitty beer. We didn't want Frank Lampard. We only wanted Frank Lampard because the alternative was Vitor Pereira. And so I
didn't want Lampard. I never wanted
Pereira would have taken us down, mate. I think Pereira would have taken us down.
There's a reason why I wanted Pereira over Lampard. And the reason was really simple, and I spoke about it at the time, is he was going to bring two specific players with him. One of them was Kim, the South Korean centre-back,
right,
who is now worth about 100 million, who's at Napoli. He's an absolute monster. He's literally nicknamed the Monster. And he was going to come. And then the other lad was the Portuguese right winger. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but Jeff, by that logic, if we'd have kept Lampard, we would have gotten Danjuma and Sulemana. So would it have been worth it to keep Lampard to get those players?
Yeah, that's proud in his spliffs.
well, yeah. Also on the flip side, I
was proved right about Lampard. Like, I literally had a public thing about it where I said he will. Everyone was saying, he's this, that, and the other. And I said, he's tactically clueless. He doesn't know what he's doing. And the only reason people want him is because he talks nice on camera and he might play some kids. And he never played any of the kids. So basically, what did he do? He's got the worst record of any Everton manager in the whole of history, including Mike Walker. That's an achievement.
But speaking of talking nice on camera, here's our buddy Jan.
Yo.
Hello, afternoon, everyone. Looking so cheery and excited.
Hey, listen, we've got a lot of positivity on. Jeff has predicted a win and a clean sheet. So,
we are still in shock.
The positivity is literally through the roof. I'm so positive. I went outside, as you can see behind me. So.
Just going back to sorry, Jan. Just going back to your point there, Jeff, about Pereira coming in and bringing it. Where was we finding the money for them players?
Oh, down the back of the couch.
Basically, it was a case of he would have been in much, much earlier. But like I said, it's theoretical because we faffed about and it took so long that it didn't actually end up happening. So that, right, okay, we can all write history basically in sort of retrospect, but like at the specific time when everything was going on, I had a reason for why I was thinking the way I was thinking.
Yeah, you're entitled to. You know, a lot of people would.
So basically, it's like, well, yeah, at the time I thought this, and I had a reason for thinking this, and like maybe time has proved different. Who knows? I don't know. But at the time,
we never know. We'll never know whether Pereira was the man. You know what I mean? But
at the same time, I had an opinion on Lampard, and I said he
Everyone's
was
entitled to that, Jeff, unless you live in North Korea.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those. We're all really clever in hindsight. So it's one of those, isn't it? But yeah, I'm going to
Anyway,
scoot now. So up the effing Toffees, 1-0 Everton, please. Fingers crossed.
All right,
Fucking
Jeff, I'll be chatting with you during. You'll see me live tweeting and all that good stuff. So cheers, mate. We'll see you soon.
nice one. Catch you later.
See you, Jeff. Ta-ra, mate.
Got about 1 minute left
Oh, I don't want that
on the. Oh, my bad, Jeff. I apologize. We got about a minute left on in the minimum of 8 minutes added time at Craven Cottage. At the minute, Fulham 2 goals to Leeds is 1.
I will have to say, I've been watching that. I was a little bit delayed on coming on because I've got my usual weekend Everton are playing headache.
Yeah. Love and life.
I'm surprised that Leeds have still got 11 men on the pitch.
Yeah, they've been from the very early minutes. There's been some hardcore physicality in this one.
Yeah, I think they've adopted the attitude now of pretty much Everton in the 90s of the dogs of war. They're just going to go flying in to try and get themselves out the mire.
Leeds at every other previous point in their history just being dirty.
Yeah, I'm going for that. Is it? This might be the last kick.
Close.
Oh, he's on. Bamford's in. Oh, he's in. Oh,
yeah, you're just a touch ahead of me, but that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Good tackle there.
Yeah, what time are you on there? Because I'm on 98:37.
You're about 25 seconds ahead then, so that tells me the game is not going to end up.
12.
No problem. You guys handle the watch along. Leeds are on 4 yellow cards, and a quick reminder that we were on either 5 or 6 at Forest, in case anyone wants a good conspiracy theory.
So we're about to enter the 100th minute. So that we're about to enter the 10th minute.
Has anybody gone down injured in injury time?
Yeah, there's been actually. Willian had that long injury.
Oh, right, yeah.
There were a couple of others. So in all honesty, this added. Yeah, Willian's had a crack. He's had a cracker of a game.
He's been brilliant since he's gone to Fulham.
Yeah,
he really has.
He's been phenomenal.
No, this has been a the added time actually makes sense in this one, so I'm not complaining from that perspective. But as an Evertonian, it should have been 4.
Sending the goalie up. They probably concede from here.
Maybe. So, Jan, how are you? What's up?
Oh, you know.
Okay, let's honest Everton stuff. What do you think of the team news? Because a couple changes. Have you seen it?
I think it's interesting to see Godfrey at right back.
Godfrey's not at right back,
isn't he?
So you haven't seen the team news?
He's on the bench.
Yeah, we've got Holgate at right back. Let me pull it. Let me pull it up.
I thought I saw it on Twitter.
Promise you didn't see Godfrey at right back unless something has just changed. But yeah, here I'm putting it up for you, Jan. So take a look.
It's cool. I've got it. Oh,
okay.
Holgate. Yeah, sorry, Holgate.
It's all over the Craven Cottage.
2-1 to Fulham. That's a good start for us. If we want to think that way. For those in the chat here, yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead, Jan. Just for our chat.
No, I can see that. Obviously, Pickford, Mikolenko, Tarkowski, Keane, as expected and as wanted. But Holgate, I'm surprised at.
Not everyone wanted Mikolenko, to be fair.
I did. I mean, who else? The real issue is, if not him, then who?
Godfrey. Godfrey is the other choice. Wes and I have debated it for the better part of the last 45 minutes. I think that Mikolenko is a better choice because I think Godfrey gets caught out a bit too much in terms of, and I'm not pretending like Mikolenko is always in the perfect position, but Godfrey is just he doesn't know where he is over there. That's my personal opinion. But,
I can't disagree with that. All I will say is that with the pace of Eze on the right, there's no chance in this world that we're going to see Mikolenko getting forward. We don't see him much getting forward anyway, but there's no chance he's going to be getting forward.
The question is in the midfield, though, because you've got Ghana, Iwobi, Garner, Gray, and McNeil in the midfield. Do we keep that as a 4-5-1 with Calvert-Lewin up top? Do we see sort of a 4-4-1-1 with either Iwobi or Gray? Is Iwobi in the middle? Is Gray on the right? How does that line up? That will be an interesting point to start and to see where Deitch moves his players around during the game.
And also, where is Zaha?
Zaha's been hurt
He's
for
injured.
a few weeks. Yeah, he's probably out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, the hamstring, didn't he, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, he came up. It looked bad.
I can see, I think when we scored last week against Fulham, he changed McNeil and Gray over, and he put Iwobi in the middle, and I think we got more sort of joy once he switched Iwobi further up the field as such. So I wouldn't be surprised if Iwobi is in that centre midfield area today.
Yeah, it does look like the more natural, his more natural position. Oh, we have a technical team joining us.
That's our ticker fixer in the house. He's been doing a great job. That's why we pay him the big bucks.
Oh, excellent. £2 a stream.
From 50 pence an hour.
Yeah. That's right. It takes 4 hours to fix our mistakes.
Oh, so Everton Newcastle's on BT Sport, is it? Thursday.
At this point, it doesn't matter what. I hate that. It's going to be a weird set, but it doesn't matter how Crystal Palace line up because away from home, you could be bottom of the league. We have to show up. We've seen what we did against Bournemouth earlier in the season when Bournemouth were at their worst form. We made them look like world beaters. Fact of the matter is, we have to come out with a purpose. We have to come out compact. I'll believe it when I see it. We're all hoping for the best. I have to see it in front of me.
But for anybody that's interested, Everton will be on against Newcastle on BT Sport 2 at 7:15 on Thursday.
Go on, Jan.
Yeah, fair. Thank you. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see us play more of a 4-5-1 with 3 in the middle, with the Iwobi pushing forward at times when needed. Because what DCL offers is, if he's on his game, he can occupy both centre halves by playing in between them and allow the 3 in the middle to control the midfield and then give a bit of freedom to Gray and McNeil on the wings, to feed the balls into the channel rather than just lump it up or try and go forward. And yeah. I mean, literally, that's what I was getting onto there. Is that Gray, McNeil, and Iwobi consistently rotate amongst themselves? What I think is it's not very likely that we'll see. It's not very likely that we'll see it sort of free-form positioning. They might change every sort of 5 or 10 minutes because just to unsettle them. Because Everton needs to stay settled and control the pitch. We don't have the confidence, or the players don't have the confidence. To play that kind of free-form football that we used to see 10 years ago, to an extent, and in a way that's a shame, because it would be nice for them to find their footing, but you can't do that in the situation we're at the moment, which it is essentially, as the Fans Forum said, 7 cup finals in 7 games. So I think someone was saying on the stream last night, it's about the fundamentals. I think it was Peter, if he's here today. It's simple. It's just go out, play simple football, and put the goal in the back of the net. And I'm excited to see Calvert-Lewin. I mean, the other trouble is, do you think he's going to last longer than 60 minutes?
I think that no, probably not 60 to 65. But again, I am trying to put my faith and my stock into what Deitch has been saying. I'm trying to believe that we won't see another repeat of things like Arsenal where he goes off. We don't see him for a while. I am hoping that's what this quote unquote extra rest has prevented, because all I've got left is hope, and it's the hope that kills you.
I'm gonna just go back to the formation, and I think we will see Iwobi playing more further up the field in centre midfield, because I go back to his winner against Newcastle when DCL did play with his DCL's assist for the winner, and also we had a massive assist from the man who chained himself to the goalpost. But but that was a great little bit of link-up play between Iwobi and DCL to get that winner. You know what I mean? So I think Iwobi will play the Decore role. I'd say. You know what I mean?
I mean, you got to bear in mind though that if there is, I'm not a great believer in this, but having said that, footballers tend to be a separate breed, a separate sort of entity. It's possible that after turning them over last season and then doing them at Goodison, it's possible that they could be a little bit apprehensive of us, towards us, because we've scored more goals against them than we seem to have scored any other.
I will not be doing a watch along for ours. I've thought about it, but I think I'll stay off of that. I will be live tweeting though. So if you see my Twitter, I will be on that. But I will do a lot of watch alongs. Possibly, I think the late game's actually been postponed today. So tomorrow I might be doing watch alongs depending on how today's results go and if I'm not just angry. But we'll see.
There's FA Cup games today, isn't it?
Oh, that's right. We have the semifinal at 4:45. You guys,
Yeah, Man City versus Sheffield United.
Okay, maybe, probably not though. But usually I'll try to keep it to the Prem. But we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. But at that point, I'll have been on broadcast for a few hours, and I'll probably be pretty tired. But
I was just completely ignoring that though, Maka.
Yeah, that never really happened.
No, it's a fluke goal.
That was in all sense of reality.
Average goal, another average goal, and a fluke.
We didn't want to. We didn't want to win that cup anyway.
No.
I mean, so we don't care about Brentford Villa. We want. Who do we want? Leicester or Wolves?
Speak for yourself. I've got Ollie Watkins in fantasy.
Wolves, 100%. Wolves.
But Bournemouth, West Ham. What do we want for that tomorrow?
Wolves is actually. I mean, that's more massive than the others, in my opinion. I think we want. I mean, we have to hope that Leicester lose at this point. Sorry, your next question was what? West Ham and what?
Bournemouth, West Ham.
I mean, Bournemouth at this point, Bournemouth is what we want, right?
But I don't think them two teams really affect us. I think West Ham they'll get out of it.
I think that West Ham are only in it because they have advanced in this conference league and they've now added 2 more games to their already saturated schedule. And the only reason I'm saying that is I get that they might have a quote unquote better starting side, but still, when you play all these minutes, let's just say they pick up 1 or 2 injuries, all of a sudden they're dragged back in. So if I had to choose, I'd pick Bournemouth. I agree with you though. For the most part, it's down to the bottom 4 or 5.
I think ultimately after last week, the relegation places have formed themselves. I think from Leeds downwards, Leeds, us, Leicester, Forest, Southampton.
Let's have it right now. Leeds are firmly in this, by the way, at this point. So it's a bottom 5 instead of the 4 that we thought last week. I think.
I mean, ideally, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But West Ham have got a game or 2 in hand. They'll have got a game in hand after tomorrow, but they've got that congested schedule because they've got to play Ghent again, and they've got some.
No, that's done. That's done. They've advanced now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember who they're playing, but they are on to the next round.
Oh, yeah, it was the 11th and the 18th, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, and I just it's difficult to see. Well, Southampton, in my mind, are down. Leicester look like they might be down, which is a little bit of a shame. But then I think they sort of peaked, and then they got rid of some players and didn't really do the right thing.
But still, Jan, their last 3 finishes, I think, are something like 5th, and 8th. Like they've gone from a team contending for Europe to like just bang. Now they're all of a sudden about to be relegated. And I agree with everything you're saying. It's just if you're a Leicester fan and you've seen your team basically bottle Champions League 2 seasons ago because they had top 4 most of the season, and in the final week and a half, 2 weeks, they gave it away. You see it all of a sudden go from that to where we are now. I mean, we've got our own problems with the board that, of course, we know about, but from a Leicester perspective, that's a shocking fall.
I think something that we haven't, I don't know whether you touched on it earlier on, Chris, when you was on with Amy, was the result from last night. Like that was from a team that's down there with Southampton.
Right.
That Arsenal coming back to take 2 points off them. Yeah, it doesn't suit Arsenal by any stretch of imagination, but it certainly suited us.
I still think that No, we didn't touch on it much. I think that Southampton, given what I've seen, with the exception of last night, we're down anyway. But it must be stated. I mean, who knows what a win like that could have done for a squad like that?
It would have been massive.
You're right,
It
and they
would be
do.
massive.
We've said it before. Southampton still have Forest in 3 weeks, 2 weeks time, and so that game all of a sudden would have been a game to stay up if you like. Southampton hosts Bournemouth next week. I know what Bournemouth have done, but the fact is Bournemouth are still Bournemouth. So anything can happen. So I don't disagree with you. That result, that 3-3 draw with Arsenal is more massive than I've given it credit for. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think we was all on tens of hooks last night when they were 3-1 up, and you're thinking, oh God, this is just going to get worse.
Right.
And then for them to get 2 goals in 3 minutes, 2 minutes, something like that.
Something like 88th and 90th minute, I believe. Boys, I need to run because I have to eat something before this game. You guys carry on, though. To everybody in the chat, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate you guys being here. Please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I will be live tweeting during the game, and I will see you guys post-match. Up the Toffees.
Up the Toffees. See you later, Chris.
See you, mate. Yeah, so it's been very weird. I tweeted earlier. I don't know if you'd have seen it, Wes. You've probably been on here. I tweeted earlier. It feels weird cheering Fulham's goal after last week. It's like having an ex that cheated on you with a mate, then finding out one of them's cheating now. It's a mess. Nobody's truly happy, and you still got hurt. But haha.
That is one of the best analogies I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing now. We're cheering on teams that like you would never ever dream of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like Chris said, when Leicester play Wolves, you want Wolves to beat Leicester. You're like, you never have thought it. You know what I mean? But this is the position that we're in now. Is we're hoping for other teams to do us favors. Like, it's still in our hands. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the weirdest thing is to think this afternoon, and I hold my hands up. I think everyone knows the passion that I have and how much I hate them lot, right? But we do need them to beat Forest.
The same as you today against Leeds. You're sitting there, you were cheering every goal that went in. You're like, that's another one.
No, the annoying thing is, I watched it until Leeds got the goal back, and then I thought, oh God, this is really tense, and I turned off at 2-1. So I'd done all the disgusting suffering, and then turned off going.
Yeah, like I had it on the telly and I was watching it. Like I had the league table up on my phone and I was going, "Oh my God, we've scored another one! There are only so many goals behind us now. Come on, score another one!" You're praying for Liverpool to score like a bag full against them. Obviously, it was 6 at the end, but it could have been so much more, and we could have been, like I say, having a better goal difference than the likes of Leeds can count as like another game that you've won. You know what I mean? That could count as 3 points ultimately. And
Tazul here has just said that Leeds have Leicester and Bournemouth the next 2 games, which will determine their fate, I think. And Forest have the toughest run. Can't see them winning another game, so it's between us, Leicester, and Leeds. I mean, Forest actually have got maybe one will. No, actually, we discussed this before. God, who have Forest got?
But also, ultimately, that, I mean, it's saying that the fixtures that they got, Leeds have got Leicester and Bournemouth, that can determine their fate. That could also determine our fate.
Ours, yeah. I mean, Forest have got a game against Southampton the start of May before they play Chelsea and Arsenal, and then Palace on the last day of the season. So maybe there's one winnable there, but I don't know. I mean, it really is squeaky bum time. But did you guys touch on? We mentioned it last night, and maybe it was a steer clear because this is the match preview thing. Did you guys touch on any of the response about the Chairman Bill's open letter?
Oh, it's being talked about extensively on here.
Okay, right. Well, I'll leave that there then.
Yeah, it's not gone down well.
No, I mean my thoughts on it, if I can, maybe just it's been so very, very weird that it seems like it was. I don't know. It reads like I said, an extended WhatsApp message or an email that hasn't been edited or vetted by PR or media. Okay, so he's the chairman, but it seems like it's come across as an emotional and an angry response to like people talking about his health, which I can understand. I mean, to you've got to understand there's different levels. It's not, when I say I understand, doesn't mean, oh yeah, it's perfectly fine, I agree, it's all good. It's like you understand where one person comes from, and it just it's just weird. It's like he's decided to speak out from a place of anger, and I don't think it's
Seems very self-centered.
Yeah.
Very, oh,
I mean,
poor me.
it seemed like he was trying to write something emotional, like a "how dare you" for talking about my health, which is right, but it would have been better to have said nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been like the worst kept secret about his health for a few years now. You know, we all knew that he wasn't in the greatest of health. You looked at him sometimes in the stands, and he'd look like he'd just got in off a 24-hour bender. Do you know what I mean?
It does make me question, though, that if he's really not well and it is cancer and he's had some operations recently, is it possible that it's chemotherapy which does mess with your head a bit?
Well, I wouldn't know, but like it's all he mentioned was it was a chronic illness, wasn't it? You know what I mean? He hasn't mentioned the big C or anything like that. Now, a chronic illness could be a numerous amount of things. You know what I mean? So, who knows? I hope it's not. Obviously, I don't want to see the guy
No, I don't wish
die.
ill on.
You know what I mean? But at the same
But it
time,
just
it's like
if he would have written nothing, then that's fine, and you can't criticize. Well, you can criticize nothing, but there's no actual content there to criticize. But why wasn't it like a long, like a love letter, like a breakup letter, like a, when when you're young and you write these stupid 10, 12 page silly things, and you're like, but to be honest, or well, to have been honest, to be heartfelt and write like an open letter that was laying out his history, his efforts, his attempts, his failures and flaws, his reasoning, his successes, and it would have been anyway. Sorry,
yeah. I mean, I think I don't know who the reporter was in the Red Echo, and he said when a club needs to come together and unite, that was the last thing that they needed was for him to pen that letter. You know what I mean? It's just caused more division between, a greater gulf, between the fans and the board when they're already protesting against them.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be said. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? Keep your mouth shut, and hopefully we can address it next season when we're still in the Premier League.
Yeah. Well, when?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, and I might sort of like incur the wrath of a lot of Evertonians here, but the club was run pretty good before Mashiri come in. With Robert Elstone as the CEO, the club was run on a shoestring, but was run well. You can't disagree with that. When you're getting the likes of your Kales and your Pinas, your Artetas, in your Joleon Lescott's.
What's happened to that kind of scouting? We always seem to pay over the odds. I know the market dictates this, but if you want a player and they're going to push us on, and you're talking about 10 million, 10, 12 million, and then they say come back and say 14, just fucking pay it. Right. But then, but then when you're talking about spunking away 40 million, 50 million on these sorts of players, Terry, we're not doing a watch along for this, mate. Unfortunately, I came on. I've had like a migraine. Sorry, and can't really share any sort of links like that because it would possibly risk the channel. And yeah, it's not doable.
It was like remember that woman, like I think a good few years back now. I think she won the pools or something, and she got interviewed and they asked her what she's going to do with the money, and she said spend, right? And that pretty much feels like what happened when Mashiri come in, and he said to Bill, "What are you going to do with this money, Bill?" He's like, "We're going to spend," and we don't care what the consequences are. We're just going to spend. You know what I mean? And that's what it feels like when it under his ownership, when we didn't have two halfpennies to rub together. The club was run much better, and we were finding these superstars from the lower leagues, bringing them in, and creating a good environment and a good team and a good ethic. And we were selling the players on. Yeah, we were selling them because we had to sell to buy, but we were selling them at massive profits. You know what I mean? And that, as soon as Machiri come in, that disappeared. Moyes went, that disappeared. That ethic of hunting for gems in the lower leagues, that disappeared, and we were buying the Gylfi Sigurdssons and the Alex Iwobis for overinflated prices, because that's what Bill thought he could do with Mashiri's money.
Well, on that note, yeah,
are we going to wrap it up and not go and watch an illegal stream?
Exactly. That is the one. I've just got to say, though, look at how much it means to us. You've got that clock on your wall. It's lovely, by the way, with the pictures of important things from your life, like is it your marriage, your kids, wedding, all the stuff like that. And I've just noticed that 6 of the pictures have got blue in, right? And they all look like
there's no red in my wedding.
Right? Yeah, but things like that.
My missus is a cop-out, though. So, you can't have everything. But
right,
nobody's allowed to wear red.
It might be because of my yellow top, and it might be because for some reason the internet's decided to slow down today, and I don't have it connected by a cable. But yeah, sorry. With that, we're getting blurry. I'm fading away into the mists of Goodison Park. Yeah. So thank you very much, Wes. Thanks everyone for sticking around for this long. There's about 8 minutes to go to kick off. So if you want, do not use VPNs, do not go on certain websites, do not illegally stream the game.
We don't advocate it.
Yeah. I don't have awful internet, honestly. Just sometimes it cuts out around 3 o'clock for some reason.
I think you've been sitting in Jeff.
I do not have awful internet. Honestly, it's like 100 and something megs per second. It's frustrating, but sometimes it just decides to go around. Thank you very much, everyone.
Prediction before you go, Jan.
Oh. Christ. 2-0 to us.
I like it. I like the positivity. I'm going to go for a 1-1.
Fair.
I'm not going to go for a DCL goal like probably most people, because I think he's going to take 3 games or so to get up to scratch. I'm going to go with another Calvert-Lewin. It won't be link up. It won't be bang.
Right. I've got to go because I think the dog's got through to next door's garden. Excellent.
All the best. Up the fucking Toffees.
All right. See you, everyone.